Morning live stream.
Morning, everybody.
Theme song rolling in the background right now.
Perfect Strangers.
All right.
Guys are up.
Just in case you need a little extra boost as the off season officially underway this week for Gamecock Athletics. Perfect Strangers theme songs there for you. It's been there for us for a long time now. And this off season, I know summer will be what it is, but it doesn't seem quite as long as some in the past. Maybe it's just the inspiring harmonica. But probably more. It's a new head coach for the Gamecock football team. It's a baseball team that at least got to host a regional. I know it didn't end up great, and now it's a baseball program that gets to host a super regional, although they won't be playing. It's Virginia and Dallas Baptist coming to Columbia this weekend is where we start this morning. Also, guys, 3 transfers now out of the Gamecock baseball program, names that were relatively familiar. We mentioned Jeff Heinrich as one of those names yesterday. Michael Robinson, another infielder who saw some time this year, mostly as a defensive replacement. Got at least a start or 2 over at third base. And then Noah Myers, kind of in the same boat in the outfield, didn't get a ton of playing time. It's going to be leaving the Gamecock baseball program. Pretty quick decisions after the season just ended on Sunday. Bill, what do you make of that news of the trio of Gamecocks hitting the transfer portal in the baseball?
Yeah, I don't know. Is there likely going to be some turnover? I think it was a bigger roster, but I don't, off the top of my head, remember the exact number of scholarship players that South Carolina had when you factored in the guys returning from the COVID year. And so I know that, they've got a pretty good recruiting class coming in that they're pretty excited about. So with all that being said, I feel like it's being callous and cold-hearted to say the trimming of the fat or the, kind of just weeding out of maybe some. I don't know if that's always the case, but I do feel like to an extent that's what you're going to see here as you try and get your numbers back to where they're supposed to be.
Well, yeah, when you sport in baseball with just 11.7 scholarships, the COVID roster was expanded this past year. So it's one of the reasons why the team's deeper and more talented than ever before. And to me, this is just kind of a natural result of not getting the playing time, not kind of working into a role that you feel comfortable with in a program, and so you go somewhere else. And it happens every single year. I think this year probably more than others. 1, because of that expanded roster, and then 2, now because of the one-time transfer rule. Why wouldn't you go explore and try to figure out a better place, better situation for you? And in baseball, I think it happens for programs like South Carolina every single year to a certain degree. And this year, it's those 3 guys that I mentioned: Jeff Heinrich, Michael Robinson, and Noah Myers will be leaving the Gamecock baseball program. Maybe more notably, the national headline this morning I'm looking at is the Georgia football program loses a couple of top 50 recruits yesterday. At the same time, a defensive tackle and a guy just labeled as an athlete both announced they were decommitting. One after taking a visit to Texas A&M, and that defensive tackle, big dude, Bear Alexander. First of all, great name. 6'4", 335 defensive tackle out of Denton, Texas. Took that trip over to Texas A&M and decommitted. And then another athlete, Dayon Bowie, also decommitting from Georgia yesterday. Patrick, any idea of what to make of that news? Bowie was 5'11", 165, and is from the state of Georgia. Interestingly enough, ranked number 2 in that state of Georgia, the number 2 prospect, number 26 recruit in the country overall.
Yeah, I don't know why people are expecting Bear Alexander to end up at Texas A&M. Was most of the articles that I saw. He's from Fort Worth, so not far from College Station, but I also saw that he scheduled officials to Miami and Southern Cal, so maybe he's just checking that out. But I think what I saw from Texas A&M people is that they're expecting to land him pretty soon. Bowie, I think, is expected to probably play wide receiver. His kind of player comparison on 24/7 is Mecole Hardman, who was also Georgia wide receiver. So I don't know what's happening there. I mean, I saw some South Carolina people in like the comments or the mentions of that tweet announcing his decommitment felt like they had a chance to get him. I don't know if he's been on campus at all. I don't think he has. But so I don't know what the deal with that is. But I think the expectation for the defensive lineman is Texas A&M.
Bill, do you think this is a result of things just opening up and guys understanding that they have a lot more opportunity to at least go and visit and talk to people and explore that recruiting a little bit more fully than they might have otherwise been able to when everything was shut down and the COVID situation was playing itself out?
Yeah, but the Bear Alexander decommitment's not a huge surprise. I mean, trying to pull a kid out of Texas that maybe Sarkisian or Fisher in particular won't, and this young man's from Fort Worth, that's going to be really hard right now. I think Steve Sarkisian, I know the kid's probably going to go to Texas A&M. I'm just pointing out when you're trying now to go into the state of Texas and pull kids that Texas or Texas A&M won't, it's going to be difficult. So I can't say that you look at that one and say, oh, that's, I think that would make sense and is something you don't get too alarmed about if you're a Georgia fan. Deion Bowie would be. Bainbridge, Georgia has been a good place for Georgia over the years, being able to land a couple guys from down in that area. I'll be interested to kind of follow his recruit and see what exactly he ends up doing. I think, Patrick, you just kind of said this. I don't know if I exactly caught you saying, but both, I think the only odd thing, both are coming off of unofficial visits to Texas A&M. Was Texas A&M's recruiting pitch that good? They're like, yeah, don't go to consider anywhere else, but don't go to Georgia. And then you got the one Texas kid who's probably going to end up there, the Georgia kid who thinks that's the better place. What happens with DB is kind of interesting, but again, to me, it's part of recruiting as a whole now. As kids can get face-to-face interactions, go and see other campuses, see other facilities, especially if they're maybe a little bit further away. You see some Florida kids now traveling into South Carolina and Clemson and being able to check out their facilities. You see northern kids coming down south and having a chance to check out facilities. So maybe some kids that originally were planning to stay closer to home now opening up to the idea of going a little bit further away. Maybe that's what Deion Bowie's doing. I've been out to College Station. It's an impressive place. And if you haven't taken a ton of unofficial visits, it's a place that maybe can make you think a little bit about where you're going.
It's hard to say it's a big indictment on Georgia because they still do have the number 3 class so far.
Number 5 class. Now they dropped you.
I'm still seeing it's number 3 right now in 24/7 with those guys gone.
Is it the composite one that I just read the article on? It said they dropped.
I don't know. I mean, I also ESPN, Rivals, and 24/7 all have different rankings, especially this early on. So it's between 3 and 5. It's a top 5 class either way.
Says the loss of Bowie drops Georgia's class from number 3 to number 5 in the 24/7 sports team class rankings. I don't know if that's the composite or that's their actual one. But yeah, I think you'll see. South Carolina's lost the commitment to Anthony Rose. Now the interesting part about that was Anthony Rose was back on campus, I guess the end of last week, maybe this past weekend, working out, and has done interviews with both Gamecock Central and the Big Spur, and seems to rave about his visit and his time up here in Columbia. That was his first chance to come up here and really meet the staff and to be able to see the facility. So I don't think it's going to be something that you get overly worked up about, because for kids, for a lot of kids, as crazy as this is, the recruiting period's brand new. They've never done anything like this. When you have kids who are going into their junior year, and you completely put a halt to recruiting as we know it, and now you open it back up going into their senior years. A lot of them make a lot of visits, are able to form a lot of opinions about schools during their junior year. That didn't happen.
So aren't we going to see maybe more movement for this class coming up, for maybe the class beyond that coming up, just because of that? To me, this is just a natural result of things being shut down and a dead period being what it is, and now opening back up, you always get some movement this time of year with camps and maybe different kind of evaluations. But I feel like this year it's going to be more movement than we've ever seen, more activity than we've ever seen, Bill.
I don't know if because you haven't had as many commitments already. And so when you say activity, I don't think it's going to be like last year where you had kids just committing on Zoom calls. I think there will be more informed decisions this year. Across the board, with kids being able to travel, and when they take visits, actually meet with coaches and be able to get the full tours, work out for coaches. So, and again, you don't have, I didn't know we were going to go down this path. Otherwise, this is a geeky subject that I would have researched a little bit more. For instance, how many kids, like Georgia just dropped from 12 to 10 commitments yesterday. How many commitments did they have at this time last year in a pandemic crazed recruiting cycle? But I think you'll have more kids that'll actually be a little bit, I don't think you'll see this as much. I think you'll have more kids that'll be a little bit more cautious about making a commitment, especially to not a premier school, an Ohio State, an Alabama, a Georgia, just because you can go ahead and commit to those and you know what you're getting. I mean, you're pretty well aware of what you're getting when you commit to a school like that. If you're choosing between, say, a South Carolina right now, even a Florida State, some of the schools that are certainly not premier, a little bit different then.
So this June 1st, it's been about a week now that things have opened up for on-campus recruiting for the first time in more than a year, and I've already seen some of the results right now. I know if you're on social media following the Gamecock coaches, I think it was Justin Stepp yesterday, the wide receivers coach, just talking about the love for the place and how that's going to make South Carolina different, and certainly using the welcome home hashtag. And you see a lot of, this is the classic, like, talking around specific recruits where coaches can't mention specific recruits, but they can describe them pretty accurately. And then you see those recruits retweeting it, or it's pretty easy to connect the dots on social media. So we'll certainly be keeping an eye on how that goes. If you want to hear more details on that, you can check out the podcast page on 1075.com. Gamecock Central's Chris Clark speaking with the halftime show guys extensively yesterday, and getting into all the specific details about Gamecock football recruiting. Again, Gamecock baseball, the news yesterday popping out, 3 transfers, 3 guys hitting the transfer portal that at least saw some playing time this year. Jeff Heinrich, we mentioned that one to you yesterday, saw the most time at third base. Got, I think, 23 starts this year, maybe a start or 2 at second base. Definitely played there in the last couple of years. Michael Robinson, who ended up being mostly a defensive replacement at third base for the year, was in the second string shortstop, got a couple of starts down the stretch of the season. And then outfielder Noah Myers, also leaving the Gamecock baseball program. Kind of the headline story of the moment in what will be a slower sports time for us now that Gamecock baseball is done. It was Virginia, after our show yesterday, ended up with a 4-3 walk-off win against Old Dominion, ending the number 1 seed's really, really good season as a number 3 seed, now advancing, and will be hanging out in Columbia for a while. Columbia, the site of that super regional, and Dallas Baptist, another number 3 seed, coming to Columbia. So there will be a number 3 seed going to the College World Series, just like there'll be at least one SEC team with an all SEC matchup, with LSU playing Tennessee in the super regionals as well. And we talked about it. Varying degrees of interest, I think, moving forward in the NCAA baseball tournament, with the Gamecocks now out 6 SEC teams in the last 16 teams left. You guys were into the NHL playoffs last night, Bill. Is that why you're a little down this morning after the Tampa Bay Lightning, a team that you like to hate watch because your buddy lives down there, and that's just part of your charm? Ended up matching up.
Well, if you had to be
your
on
adopted
the
team,
if you had to be in the I like both teams, but the end text message is ho hum, another Lightning bleep kicking, and a Vassy shutout. Vassy is for the goalie, so don't worry, I didn't bleep out the wrong word. But yeah, that was the text at the end of the game. 9:05 is when that one rolled in. So that's why I hate watch the Lightning, is to not get text messages like that from a Charleston resident who moved to Tampa several years ago. Didn't affiliate with any of the other programs, just the organization, just the one that was winning. I give him credit. I guess he has both season tickets now, but I won't mind it. A Tampa Bay Islander series would be pretty good. I'd actually just to have somebody to pull for. I'd kind of like the Bruins to come back and win, because I could definitely pull against the Bruins and pull for the Lightning, because the Lightning are really good. Patrick, I'm not going to sit here and say my hockey knowledge is on par with yours, but Vasi, that dude in goal, man, is unreal.
Yeah, he's the best goalie in the world.
Yeah, I mean, he's big too. What, he's 6'3" is what I've read.
Yeah, I mean, most hockey goalies are big now because you got to take up the whole net, and they're just big and flexible. That's pretty much the key. But Vasilevsky is the best goalie in the world, and Victor Hedman's the best defenseman in the world, and their offense is firing on all cylinders now with Kucherov being back. The Lightning are playing the best hockey of anyone by far right now, so they are going to be very difficult to beat. I expect them to probably roll through whoever they get in the next round. It's the Colorado-Vegas series that's the most interesting, because Colorado was the best team in hockey all year, and Vegas was probably right 1A, 1B, and Colorado got up 2-0 in that series, and Vegas has now won 3 in a row after being down 2 goals. They came back and won an OT yesterday, so I think whoever comes out of this series is going to end up facing Tampa in the Stanley Cup Finals. Not to completely write off the semis, but they are the best teams right now.
Vegas, the 3-2 winner at Colorado last night. Again, to go up 3-2 in that series. It ended up being 4-1. The Hurricanes just winning one game and losing at home last night 2-0 for Tampa Bay to move on in that series. And the baseball field, the Atlanta Braves, a 9-5 winner against the Philadelphia Phillies. So the turnaround continues from the Braves standpoint after a weekend series win against the LA Dodgers. A little bit closer to home, the Columbia Fireflies losing on the road last night, and the Charleston River Dogs hopping in first place in their division in the newly realigned minor league divisions there. 3-1 the final score. Charleston over Columbia last night, and the Fireflies going to return home relatively soon. They'll be back at home next Tuesday to start a 12 games in 13-day stretch at Sager Park. That'll include a couple of fireworks shows and some giveaways and plenty more. You can check out all that information. FirefliesTickets.com. The Columbia Fireflies off to a pretty good start this year as well. Not quite as good as now what's turned into a bit of a rivalry with the Charleston River Dogs, who jumped into first place last night again after that 3-1 win. So some scores to get you going this morning. We'll get into some more interesting topics, I guess. In baseball, it's all about who's cheating on the mound these days. And I know there were some trickle-down effects of that maybe in the Carolina-Virginia series over the weekend, or the Carolina-Virginia matchups, I should say, in that regional series in the Carolina Regional at Founders Park. 803-404-6100 is the number into the show. We'd love to hear from you. You can call or text that number. You can also catch us on the YouTube, Facebook live stream, up and rolling on Twitter as well. That video live stream sponsored by Buford Lending. You're listening to the early game here. It's 107.5 The Game.
Have you checked your mortgage statement lately? Really looked it over, made sure that everything seemed right, maybe saw how much of equity you had currently with your mortgage. That's something you need to do. And then you need to give the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder, a phone call today. Who knows how much money they could save you? Jacob and Brian Kovar with First Palmetto Bank. They can help maybe save you, put you in a better financial situation, help maybe pay off some bills by refinancing your home. Give them a phone call today and find out what I'm talking about. 803-719-1005 is the cell phone of one Jacob Crowder, the mortgage guru. The email you can get in touch with them is the letter J, Crowder, CROWDER at firstpalmetto.com. Again, check that mortgage statement today. Just kind of see what you're paying, see how much equity you have right now in your mortgage, maybe how much you might be able to refinance, all kinds of questions that I'm not capable of answering, but one Jacob Crowder is. 803-719-1005. Again, that email, the letter J, Crowder, CROWDER at firstpalmetto.com. He's the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank.
Tim, were you talking about Garrett Cole?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a very incriminating soundbite. It might even be worth us.
They played it in the national update, I think.
Oh, they did? Okay.
No, I'm looking for love.
Miss out on that sweet deal from Bricks and Stones Pizza Company. Log on to 1075pizza.com beginning Friday at 9 a.m. to get a $50 gift certificate for just $25. But hurry, because it's a limited amount and they will be sold. If you have IRS tax problems, it can seem like a vicious cycle that never ends, year after year. Just getting the mail can be stressful and overwhelming. Don't let it ruin your life. There is a solution. In 2008, the attorneys at Eckler Law Firm devoted their practice to the resolution of tax problems for individuals and businesses across the Carolinas. We have the knowledge and experience and are dedicated to the success of each client. We are local attorneys with local solutions. At free initial consultation, we will listen to your concerns, your goals, and explain the systematic process we use in solving your tax problem. From that initial meeting, we're dedicated to improving your life by solving your tax problem. If we sound like someone you want to work with, take that first step. Give us a call at 803-771 or Exton Law Firm. Use technology every day to
My computer is running very slowly this morning.
The South Carolina Equipment Distribution Program is helping South Carolinians with the hearing restrictions.
I don't have a delay on the access, do I? Y'all don't notice a delay, do you?
Nope, have not.
Okay, good.
I delay listening to you, but
Ah.
Is that how you make your NASCAR picks, on a delay? Are they supposed to come in correctly in 4 or 5 years?
So who beat whom this week?
Yeah, I'll let you get an extra point. I got another point on Carrie. Do you think I'm worried about you? What are you, like 35 points behind?
Something like that.
You could pick 3 straight winners and still not be in the lead.
Can you drive a stick shift? Use power tools?
Huh?
Huh?
Can I drive a stick shift to use power? I don't have to. That's why they make manual cars, automatic cars now.
I said, yeah, that's right. That's why they make manual cars. You don't have to drive a stick.
I don't. They give you 2 legs also if you want to walk.
Mm-hmm. This is very true. I see you walking
You're
up
right.
and down.
You're right, David. Leave it to Jen to incite a riot with her smart aleck remark about a delay. Is it supposed to rain today? Are we done with the rain now?
Yeah, still could see some thunderstorms. Chances aren't quite as high, but still that humidity garbage in there.
Last day of school for the kids. Last day. Summertime officially begins.
Woohoo!
Oh, Craig's got a bourbon story for you.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know.
Morning, David. Yeah, a little quiet this morning. Morning, T-Ray.
Oh, I was just reading a long article on The Athletic about spider tack.
Nice. I was reading the ESPN one, so maybe we can compare notes. I'd never even heard of that before this morning.
I hadn't either. The only substance I knew was pine tar.
Yep.
Rocking out to Alice Cooper, Brian. What's up? Heck of a golfer.
Is it Spider track or spider tack?
Tack.
Tack. So obviously, you're very familiar with the substance as well.
Very familiar. I'll be honest. I heard the interview yesterday, and I really thought he said spider tack track, which I thought was some kind of like analytics device that they use. So I just
Right.
moved on past it.
He could have mispronunciated it.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Man, a 9-ounce
I bet you.
competition grade spider tack is $40.
Can you write it off in your taxes?
In the picture on Amazon, it's a guy with spider tack on his hand, just holding up a full cinder block, just like that. The cinder block sticking to his hand. That's a hilarious picture. That can't be real.
Wouldn't think you get the ball out of your hand if it's stuck like that.
That's what I'm saying. If it's enough to just stick a cinder block to your hand.
All right, guys are up.
Spin rate, grip enhancement, spider tack. That's where we are right now in baseball. I guess as much as I never thought I would hear the clear or the what else was the deal with the steroids back in the day? I forget what kind of way they were using the performance enhancing drugs from that standpoint. But now the epidemic in baseball is that pitchers are putting stuff on their hands, apparently the specific brand of this grip enhancer. And Patrick, what did you say? You just looked up spider tack on Amazon and you see a guy holding up a cinder block like with a
Just
a
stuck
flat
to his
hand.
hand, yeah. I mean, that would rip the skin off your hand, wouldn't it? But it says it's competition grade, and it says for stone loading. So I Googled stone loading, and I guess it's like a strong, world's strongest man type of competition. So it's probably very difficult to grip a giant boulder without a little bit of substance on your hand. So a little bit different than a baseball.
Well, it's coming into play because former Brave, Major League Baseball slugger Josh Donaldson calling out Yankees pitcher Trevor Bauer here, and sorry, not Trevor Bauer, the other guy, Garrett Cole. He's from
Because they play
UCLA.
together in college, yeah.
Right. And it's probably more of Garrett Cole's answer actually than anything
You
else.
think?
Is this thing going? So he was asked if he's particularly used spider tack, and he says, "I don't know quite how to answer that after Stone." Well, I think
It was
we
a
all know.
hilarious answer. I don't really know how to answer that. It was a solid 10 seconds before he actually said any actual words.
So I think we all know how to translate that. Now the question is, what's baseball going to do about it? And the report is that umpires are going to start checking pitchers like 8 to 10 times per game. I guess as they come off the mound. And what do you do? Do you do the handshake test? Is that what the umpires are going to do? Just go and give some awkward handshakes? Do they do high fives? I mean, I never in my life thought that baseball would go here. Now, the advantage is if you get a better grip on the ball, then you can make it spin more. And when you can make a ball spin more, you make a ball move more. And that has helped attribute to this dominant age that pitchers are in right now. I mean, we talked about the Gamecock offense struggling and striking out a bunch. 15 more strikeouts yesterday for Virginia pitching against Old Dominion, coming off that ridiculous 24 strikeout game. And when pitchers get better spin rate, it makes them more difficult to hit. It's that simple. So I guess my question to you guys is, all right, there's a problem here. Just like everybody in baseball knew there was a steroid problem back in the day. The question now becomes, all right, how do you fix it? I think that's the much more complicated question. You guys got any ideas? Bill, Patrick, what do you guys think? Looks like Patrick's got.
I don't know. No, my question was going to be for everybody. I mean, this is a big story. But how many people actually care? Like I don't.
I think there's two parts to this, and let's go back and kind of just what has happened here, because the background on this is that Garrett Cole's last time out. See, I don't even pay. I'll be honest. We were saying this off air. I saw this story yesterday as I was, kind of flipping around during timeouts of hockey or during in between breaks, and I was listening, and I saw the question, the answer. I thought the words were spider track, which when I heard it, to Patrick's point, I instantly flipped away from it because I thought they were talking about some kind of analytics device he uses that maybe is in question. And so I didn't even pay attention to the story. It was only within the last, I don't know, guys, 10 minutes that Patrick describes spider tack as holding up a cinder block with your hand using a substance to make your hands more sticky. But what has happened here is two minor league pitchers have been caught with a substance, a foreign substance or illegal substance on their hands. And that now a plan is swiftly being advanced by Major League Baseball that will have umpires repeatedly check pitchers. Well, last time out, Garrett Cole, again, this is the analytics part, had a decrease of 125 rotations per minute on his four-seam fastball. He allowed 5 runs in 5 innings. And now the question is, well, did he realize he was about to be caught, so he didn't use whatever it was that he may have been using? Cole has said the spin rate drop-off was due to mechanical flaws. It was actually Josh Donaldson who wondered aloud whether Cole had been using something, and that's what sparked all this. The good news is we'll find out tonight, right? Or at least get some kind of answer to the Yankees and Garrett Cole face Josh Donaldson and the Twins. I think I'm right in saying that Cole is on the mound tonight. But yeah, and I don't know, maybe a baseball purist or somebody can really break down, Tim, maybe you understand it, what exactly a decrease of 125 rotations per minute is, like how severe that is. And I said 2 minor league pitchers. I'm sorry, it was 4 minor league pitchers have been suspended this season for using a banned foreign substance to doctor baseballs. To Patrick's point, I feel like this is like good cop versus the robber, right? Aren't the pitchers always trying to get away with something?
No, it's not just the pitchers. This is nothing new, right? Gaylord Perry was infamous for it back in the day, and it used to be like nail files in the back pocket where you try a cut on the ball or something. So trying to get an advantage is never anything new, and it's certainly not just pitchers, obviously, with performance enhancing and PEDs and the McGuire, Sosa, and Barry Bonds era. We all went through that. But my question is, what do you do to fix this issue? Because kind of the homemade version of spider tack is sunscreen and rosin, right? I mean, you can't tell guys they can't wear sunscreen. So I just don't know how you fix this issue. And to me, that's the difficult part. And that's why you get the stuttering answer, I think, from Garrett Cole, because obviously this substance has been used and continues to be used. And what happens from here? He talked about how batters have used that kind of stuff forever, right? The famous George Brett scene from running out of the dugout and going nuts after he gets called out after hitting a home run at Yankee Stadium for having the pine tar too high on the bat. And he goes nuts. So baseball batters have always used pine tar to get a better grip on the bat and the whole thing. Not performance enhancing necessarily, or not seen as that. But when you're talking about specific rotations of the ball, did you guys ever, I know you guys didn't play a ton of baseball growing up, but have you guys ever been in a batting cage that is near impossible to hit? There are certain batting cages that will just release the ball in a certain way to where it rises and it really spins, and it doesn't matter necessarily what the miles per hour is. I'll never forget hopping in one at like 65 miles an hour, and you can't hit it. It just keeps going up. So it's that idea when the ball is spinning as quickly as it can, or as quickly as some of these major leaguers make it spin, then it's really difficult to hit. And how significant is 125 spins per minute? I don't know exactly the details on that. Clearly, it's significant enough to be a huge story in Major League Baseball right now.
I read that like pine tar can add a couple dozen RPMs but the spider tack adds hundreds. And there's like pitching coaches interviewed that said there's no mechanical way that you can really change and add hundreds of RPMs. That's just not, once you're, I guess, at that level, it is what it is. But it's also could be interesting because the Astros seem to be right at the center of this again, because Garrett Cole went to the Astros after being with Pirates for a long time. And when he came to the Astros, it was when his spin rate started to increase by hundreds of RPM just from the change of venue. And they said they were changing what he did mechanically and all sorts of things like that. But they've been caught cheating. They are known to cheat. And they were like the forefront of the spin rate revolution, they were calling it, for pitchers, like claiming guys that had high spin rates on their pitches. And if it comes back to them, I mean, they can't be any more hateable already. But if they find out that the Astros kind of started this whole deal by focusing on the spin rate and using spider tack to make sure that guys were getting the spin that they needed, I mean, they can't be any more hateable.
Garrett Cole signed a 9-year, $324 million contract, which is why this is as big of a headline as it is. Right now, he's third in the league in strikeouts with more than 100, a 3-time All-Star. He's been one of the best in baseball. But, Patrick, where you're at there, I don't think any of us would be surprised, would we, if that's what this is, that the Astros figured out a specific substance. Who knows? Maybe they had some weightlifter buddy or something, right? And it sneaks into the clubhouse. You say, hey, try this. And then they look at that stat man stuff you're talking about, Bill, the TrackMan analytics, and you see those numbers jump big time, and then it becomes the trend. But that's where I'm at right now, Patrick. First of all, do you care in baseball? I mean, you got to be a pretty big pitching nerd to be on top of this kind of stuff. And then, all right, if you know this is a problem, well, what do you do? I mean, clearly you can't be going to these substances on the mound, right? That's what got Gaylord Perry caught in the whole thing. But I guess my question would be, if you, right before you're going out to the mound in the dugout and you're getting your pitching hand like that, how much is that going to help for outing?
But this is part of the trick, right? I used to, like you say, getting your pitching hand right. Like you sneak some substance on your belt, like in the backside of your belt there, in between your pants and your belt on the backside where it's hard to find. I mean, how entertaining would that be to see the umpire out there, like, almost like a TSA agent, at the gate as you're trying to fly somewhere, like feeling the inside of your belt, like, all right, sir, let me see your cap. All right, raise your arms. Let's feel under his armpits. Make sure there's nothing under there. I mean,
it's not just there, right? Inside of the glove is where it's an easy place to put it, on your hat.
You guys still get caught doing that.
Right. I mean, 4 minor leaguers.
Well, there's really no way to do it where you're standing on the mound, everyone's looking at you, and you're consistently wiping your hands on something. It's obviously going to get caught. But right now, isn't it more just like the honor code? Like managers have to rat out, and nobody wants to do that because you don't really want to get looked at with a closer lens either?
Well, this is the classic, it's happening, but you look away. Okay, when you're the manager. Like, ignorance is bliss. This is the classic college football example of, hey, there are probably some recruiting shenanigans going on, but I'm not looking into it too closely because that opens just a complete can of worms. And if I accuse that program of doing something, then they're going to come back and accuse my program and the whole deal. So where does baseball go from here? I got no idea, but I do know, I think most of us of a certain age, I'm 43 again, and feel like I got burned. It was in college when it was the Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire home run, re-infusing of baseball and the enthusiasm, and everybody's happy-go-lucky, and then turns out they were just big cheaters. So I think for my generation specifically, I mean, I have to tell my kids, I gave my kids my baseball cards, and they know that certain players just use the medicine, right, to help get an advantage. That's how I've explained it to them. And so we're going through best baseball players of all time, right-handed pitchers. Roger Clemens was on that list pretty high the other day, and my 8-year-old just yells out, "Cheater!" I mean, that's what baseball has been in my lifetime. So I completely have already in my mind found this guilty. Like there's no doubt in my mind that Garrett Cole is doing this. How to what degree and the Athletic? I know you were reading an article recently here, Patrick, but I read one several months ago. I think maybe in the off season going into this year, they talked about the percentage that some people were ballparking this thing that 90% of the guys were doing this. 90% of Major League Baseball pitchers were doing this to some degree. So right.
It's a near certainty that Garrett Cole does it because he didn't even deny it. Like, did he think that he was under oath when he's doing a press conference and that if he lied that he would go to jail or something? That was the first thing that I thought. Was like, you can lie. Like, just say no.
I felt like he knows he's about to be caught, and there was like it's the kid who like is holding, is holding the glass with the milk on the floor in front of him and isn't quite sure how to exactly explain how the milk is on the floor and not in the glass. And it's like, did you spill the milk? And it's like, I don't know if we should have this conversation. Like,
except this is a deal where there's a $324 million contract involved. So maybe there's something in there, Patrick, where if he were to admit that he's used a substance like this, they can void the contract.
Well, when you asked him the question, Tim, I thought I recognized the guy, but I definitely don't know what his name is.
No, it did not.
But I would have been like, come on, man, you're a Yankees reporter. I thought you were out here looking for my best interest.
Well, Patrick,
come on, buddy. We're on the same side here.
One reason I think he was so hesitant is the connection that you just put together that I didn't even think about, the Houston Astros connection. Like, I mean, if you're Garrett Cole, the poor Houston Astros are going to get probably kind of drugged back through the mud.
Oh, yeah, that poor organization.
Oh.
That poor organization that stole a World Series. That valuable medal that they cheated their way into.
That's usually my job, to shut Bill down on the poor.
I know. I was making a joke, but that's my point. Is like that organization, like those guys are down there, like, hey man, we've already done our time. We've already been harassed and threatened and beamed. Now it's going to come out that Garrett Cole is turning us in on more stuff. Not good.
Speaking of time, we got to take a quick break here. Jonathan checking in on the YouTube live stream from Pawleys Island with a good morning. Good morning to you, sir. Up and rolling here, 404-6100, 803-404-6100. If you would like to join with a call or text, it's the early game on 107.5.
Myself, on a Wednesday morning, feeling pretty good. You'll be feeling pretty good. You go visit Love Chevrolet I-26 in Irmo between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. If you're looking for a new vehicle to make that summer road trip, the great folks at Love Chevrolet have got you taken care of, helping you save money. They got the $1,000 low price guarantee, means you can actually go shop other dealerships, come back to the folks at Love Chevrolet, and they will top it. They've got 14 acres of brand new Chevys, meaning you're going to find the car or truck that you've been looking for, the interior, the exterior, make, model, everything you've been looking for. When you have 14 acres, the largest selection of Chevrolets anywhere in the Midlands, plus a fantastic certified pre-owned lot as well to which you can choose from. And then an incredible sales staff. That's my favorite part. You go out there buying a car or truck. It can be a little nerving. You can be a little scared. Maybe you're a little worried about the big purchase you're going to make. But the folks, the great sales team at Love Chevrolet will make sure you feel comfortable, help you understand why that car or truck fits your day-to-day needs. Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Irmo between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or on the web, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and find new roads. Greg, I'm confused. You said that we can't click on your Instagram link. I'm not sure what the guy is doing it again.
I think now it's just the still shot of the Virginia pitcher with the stain on his hat. Go into it. That would be my guess.
Got it. Gotcha.
Did you guys see the first First Take headline yesterday that they're getting dragged for?
No. What was it?
Did you saw the ball flip by Arch Manning, right?
I didn't see the flip. I saw the pass that was being replayed on social media. Deep pass.
Yeah,
He taught him.
it kept getting replayed because he did a pump fake and then like the slickest little flip of the ball in his own hands and then launched people to DJ Uialele's brother, by the way. But yeah, that thing went viral just because it was the smoothest flip ever. And then First Take yesterday there was a screen. I saw the screenshot. I didn't watch the segment, but it said, coming up, will Arch Manning surpass Peyton, Eli, and Archie to be the greatest Manning yet?
Wow.
Dude, he is 16.
Just the worst. The worst of sports media in a lot of ways. I saw Julio Jones saying that he had no idea he was on TV with that Shannon Sharp conversation.
Yeah. Dude. Because Stephen A., I know, is a big NBA guy. ESPN plays NBA games. Like, talk about the playoffs. You have a national platform. You're talking about a kid who's just finished his junior year in high school right now, has 3 Hall of Famers in his family, and you're seriously asking, is he better than them? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know you got to talk about it, but how about not in the most sensational way possible? I want that.
I mean, not in First Take, though. It's like an hour-long show. Is that even a subject that should make it into the...
I'm sure they have a formula where they feel like they have to get some football in every show, and that was probably the easiest way to do it.
Jonathan,
With all that said, he will be the
basketball
best
going on
Manning,
at
yeah.
Brooklyn Casey? High school tournament, high school summer tournament.
The North-South game that was going on fall-wise. They usually have those this time of year.
I thought those were earlier, to be honest with you. I didn't know they were this late.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They do happen relatively close after the season, typically. Basketball. So you have Bill intrigued. Just need more details, sir.
Well, it'd be one of those days. I'll pick up the kids from school, high school summer tournament. Which summer tournament? Gotcha. Great collegiate.
So a team camp or more of a prospect deal?
Probably both. I don't think they're allowed to get out and travel. It's funny. Last night I went down the rabbit hole. I watched just a few minutes of the Hawks and the Sixers. And
Yeah, I tried to watch it.
And I had to go back and find my article. Back then, I didn't know how good Joel Embiid was going to be, but one of the first games he ever played over here, right after he moved to Mount Verde, I was able to catch him and write about him. I looked back last night. At that time, the 3 schools interested in him were DePaul, Central Florida, and like Georgia Tech.
Wow. That's crazy.
That was what he told me afterwards.
All right, about to head back in. That's right.
Statistics. Interesting. Garrett Cole, guy who's been asked about using the foreign substance, spider tack, I guess the specific name of one substance he was asked, and then stammered through his answer yesterday. Patrick, you mentioned his evolution in his career going from the Pirates to the Astros, now to the Yankees, and that 9-year, $324 million contract. Strikeouts per year. His previous career high with the Pirates, 202. First year with the Astros, 276. The year after that, 326. Something clearly happened. I'm guessing Garrett Cole and maybe the Pirates organization would say, yeah, they figured something out mechanically. That could include a little extra help. Could it not?
Can we kick the Astros out of the league?
T-Ray mentions talking about up to 6 inches in movement, way harder to hit when you improve the grip that much or the spin rate. I think this is catching up to baseball, but how can they bring it back in is the question. How are we going to talk about some college football in hour number 2 is our question. We'll answer it for you coming up next. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5.
Clear.
And now the smart aleck in me just wants to start hour number 2 with will Arch Manning be the best Manning ever?
Oh,
Wow.
there's your.
No, but we can talk about people talking about it. It's always fun to tee off on first take. Joke of the show.
Nationals shows stink, said the shows who want to be a national show.
I do want to be a national show I could talk about. What I'll be watching tonight will be Bruins Islanders and then USA Soccer.
Soccer plays again?
Yeah, it's a friendly tonight, so they already won the tournament. But that's why I bet you, since so many people were talking about that game over the weekend, it's going to get pretty decent ratings tonight. There's a little bit of buzz around the team at the moment. They play Costa Rica. They'll destroy them.
Sorry, just going back and looking at this one texter. He keeps asking about the one specific Gamecock pitcher who he wanted to see more of. Apparently, the explanation of he wasn't good enough. Not good enough. Yeah.
I've heard a couple people ask, maybe it's the same guy multiple times.
And yeah, it's got to be done.
Because he did pitch a lot of innings the year before, didn't he?
Yep. So did others.
A little more coffee.
Yeah, somebody hit us up and said that Trevor Bauer has been talking about this for years, and I think Bauer and Cole kind of famously do not like each other.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why, but
Does that go back to college? They hate each other in college?
yeah, I think there was a bit of a rivalry there. But apparently Bauer has been treated kind of like a crazy person, even admit or just suggesting this, and now
Well,
looking like Seiko and his story of the steroids.
I think young people like Trevor Bauer in general. He's just
Right, his new attitude.
yeah.
Pimp the home run if you want to. You deserve it.
Yeah. Was he better at UCLA?
They were both really good.
So it was.
I think they were 1A, 1B then.
Like Rocker and Leiter.
Yeah.
What were they each drafted, you know?
Both in the first round, I believe. Let's gonna go check.
2011.
YouTube link as they go early in MLB draft.
Wow. 1 and 3.
There you go.
Dylan Bundy number 4 and Anthony Rendon number 5. Very good first round. Francisco Lindor, number 8. Javi Baez, number 9. JBJ, number 40. Blake Snell, 52. Ew. Probably 3 of the top 10 pitchers in baseball right now were drafted in that draft.
Yeah.
Which one?
2011. Garrett Cole, Trevor Bauer, and Blake Snell were all in the top 52.
Was Blake Snell? Where was Blake Snell from?
High school, Washington.
So I don't even know if UCLA was in that College World Series, that second one. The year before, they obviously played against the Gamecocks in the finals, but this was after the second championship, that 2011 draft. Because I think there were might have been so many issues. Let's look at 2011 UCLA baseball.
Yeah, they didn't make the College World Series.
Holy crap. They had almost the exact same record as the Gamecocks did this year, 35-24. With 2 of the best pitchers in the history of college baseball.
Oh, man. Coco Golf just got bounced.
Oh, well.
She's 17. She's got a long career ahead of her.
It's like Garrett Cole might not have been throwing then. Oh, no, he did. Garrett Cole's record, his last year in college, 6-8.
He had checked out. He knew he was.
Trevor Bauer was 13-2.
He had checked out the year leading up to.
Yeah, he checked out. He knew he was a high draft pick.
But it looks like Cole got the first start in their regional. They ended up losing that game, and they lost they didn't get out of their regional that year. But I get it. You can be mad. Be mad. You're a South Carolina fan, but it happens.
Did you guys hear about the Roger Federer deal with the French Open this week?
I just saw that he withdrew after he won.
Yeah. It's a little
Needed
strange.
to rest up.
Well, yeah, but he knew that going into the tournament that he wasn't going to finish it. He was just like, I want to just get a couple tune-up matches in and then drop out before Wimbledon.
Why did he though?
Just to rest his body. He's like, I got 3 good matches in. I'm feeling pretty good. I'll just rest up for Wimbledon now.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. It's kind of a disrespectful move to the French Open.
Right.
It's been a rough French Open. You had the other girl pull out. Now you've got Federer doing this.
Well, Osaka, yeah.
Serena
Do
lost.
you think that's one of the reasons that he might have done it?
Why?
Because they basically were going to force her to do press conferences, right? That's why she-
Oh, that's why
Fouled out.
Osaka dropped out. Yeah. But Federer just straight up said, like, he just knows he's not going to win it because he was going to have to play the number 9 player in the country, followed by Djokovic, followed by Nadal. So he just didn't want to put excess strain on his body, but came to the French Open knowing full well that he wasn't going to finish the tournament. But he's not really getting criticized for it because he's Roger Federer and he's like the greatest guy. And people just basically said he's done enough to earn this. But I still
For the
think
Open.
if you enter a tournament, it's kind of disrespectful to
Tim,
drop out of
do
a
we
major.
have somebody? Do we have somebody on with us today?
8:30.
Yeah. Marty Simpson at 8:30.
Okay. All right.
You're up.
What do you think, Bill? How would have Jen fared in the simulated golf round we got to play yesterday to help raise some money for the United Way and the Midlands Reading Consortium over there at the main course?
Well, it's one of two ways. She would have done a lot better than I did. Or, as we all have seen through her aggressive nature, she would have destroyed the virtual golf, like ripped it down, tore it apart, stepped on it if it replicated her shots in the same way it replicated some of my shots, where I think I hit 3 or 4. I was mentally, I shanked one. I actually shanked one. I actually hit a bad shot. And after that, apparently the simulator just decided that I stunk at golf, and it didn't matter what I was going to do. It was going to be a pull hook left for about 28 yards down the fairway. And I think I putted okay.
How do you putt on a simulator?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But, so we played Pinehurst number 2, and Jen, did you want to weigh in there on how you would have fared on the simulator real quick before I get?
I wouldn't have probably, had genius play, but I also wouldn't have gone like Tasmanian Devil on it.
I don't know.
I don't know, Jen.
I don't know. Like,
This is not an indictment on you. This is an environmental observation, right? One of the good things about golf, wide open spaces. You can walk off bad shots, right?
yeah.
Oh, but you're
Throw
contained.
a club. You can throw a club.
Right. You can kind of blow some steam off, move on to your own little area, and how to do in the simulated golf. Oh, nope, those walls ain't moving, man.
Ooh.
Green is right there, just taunting you. And the worst part is what Bill's talking about. So the shot when you hit the shot in the simulator that we're using yesterday at main course, which is fantastic, by the way. And this is how I got onto it. I saw kind of out of the corner of my eye, they replayed a drive I hit, and it looked like they show the close-up from the camera up above of the contact on the club face, right? And I almost whiffed the dang ball. I mean, it hit on the very inside of the club head. And I'm like, that looks so bad. Like I was trying to miss it. And then I kept paying more attention to actually where I would hit the ball on the club head and just how poor my contact was every time. Like,
So it psychs you out.
it's very simple. You just, try to hit it in the middle of the club every time there, doofus. And it would be a lot better. We'd get a lot better results instead of just looking where the ball goes every time. Well, you just concentrate on that, but it didn't help. It didn't improve very much. Fortunately, we had good partners, Bill, and we did not come off too embarrassing in our 9-hole round where we finished a respectable, in my mind, even on Pinehurst number 2.
Well, what I'm saying, Jen, is like, I'm not saying I hit great shots or would have shot, under par by myself, but I also didn't hit shots that were reflective of the virtual golf, when it hits and I guess hits the spin rate and everything and shows you where your ball would have ended up. So there was a couple there that were just pretty bad. And then the putting, as Patrick said, it's not like Golden Tee. Golden Tee, you get up there and you just spin that little ball there in the middle and knock the ball into the back of the cup, hit it 1,000 miles an hour. As long as it lines up with the cup, it's going to go in. This one, you have to drop the ball in the cup. Like, if it's the wrong speed, it's going to hit the back of the cup, lip out, and roll another 20 yards down past the cup.
So it's real.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't even get
That
it, though.
stinks.
It's like a projector screen, right? That pulls down. You're putting it onto that at the wall.
Yeah, if you hit the target area that is about this big, as I'm showing you on the live video stream, which is maybe 3 balls wide, 4 balls wide, about as wide as a cup would be, right? If you hit that part, the putt's going to be pretty good. If not, you're going to miss putts, like I did consistently. But that leads us to the other part of yesterday's festivities, as after we finish up our 9-hole round, the United Way, and raising some money over there. And again, we really appreciate Murray Coleman and everybody having us out there and helping us be part of that. Glad we could help raise some money for the Midlands Reading Consortium, making sure that kids are reading and at the appropriate grade level through 2nd grade, I believe it is. But towards the back there of the Players Club is what they have on the 3rd floor where they let us go, which was pretty awesome to begin with. But they have the putting simulator that Murray was telling us about, Bill, when we talked to him on the air. But I don't think you can appreciate a putting simulator like that until you actually see it, because you've been on putting greens before, Jen, right? And then some of them are even more advanced than others. Like he was telling us it had hydraulics and the whole thing, and I've been on one of those before, but that one didn't have the simulator connected to the hydraulics, the one I've been on. It was more of just like, Bill, we'll get in the studio basically, and we'll just get in the hallway there and we'll hit some putts. And so one other one I've been on that has hydraulics can would be able to move it a little bit to where it had a break. But this one, you could do it with the computer, and you kept switching it. And then it also had you know how if you're watching PGA Tour golf and you're watching the CBS broadcast, the Golf Channel broadcast, the NBA Sports broadcast, it'll pop up on the screen the path a putt needs to take to get to the hole.
Mm-hmm.
It does that right on your putting green, right from the
Wow.
computer graphics. And so you can watch your ball be on the path and then stray right off of it. At least that's what happened with mine most of the time. And it was maybe the funnest thing I've ever done.
I'm back on the
Oh,
webpage. I'm back on the webpage
So fun.
trying to look at the exact the price of this thing because I was comparing it price wise to a high level jacuzzi and
He said,
figuring out
so it's probably like a nice hot tub, right? Like, I don't know.
yeah.
That is not
Yeah.
how I price something out.
Between 7
Is
and
that
10,
accurate?
6 and 8, 7 and 10, somewhere
Uh-huh.
in there. Is about
You know,
what
I think that's probably something that they could provide here in the studio for us.
Right. Except I think the actual price tag is more like 10 times that. Is that right, Bill? Is that what
no, it was I was close. I wasn't too far off. I think it was about 3,000 off, but it depended on from what I understood how much it cost initially, and now it's gone up 30% since then. So I think originally the cost was 7,400. If I understood correctly, it's a little over 10,000 now.
it was amazing. An amazing piece of equipment, and one of those things that,
Fun.
man, you talk about getting the competitive juices going, like, because it's just staring at you right there. It's giving you the path to the hole.
Yeah.
Seems so
It
simple.
was like, come on.
There it is. Like,
Yeah.
because
Tim almost
how many
didn't
times
make it
have
to
we
Little League practice?
right? How many times have we all watched golf, right? And they put that thing on the screen, like, oh, okay, here's the way he's gonna make this putt. Oh, what an idiot! He couldn't even with the line there. This guy's a professional golfer. And then these putts were, how long would you say the putt actually was, Bill? 18 feet max, somewhere in there, 15, 18.
Yeah, I was thinking 15.
Incredibly long. And the line is right there for you on the little putting green, and it's still
So
really
you didn't have to lay on the ground, and kind of look at how the
Right,
line
nope.
is, how the-
it read it for you.
Wow.
And even after hitting it several times, still quite the challenge. So that was a blast yesterday doing that.
That was, and I'm still over here trying to see if, like I said, either to y'all or to somebody, if you don't put the price on the website, that's when I realize I can't purchase it. If I have to call for pricing, but the
Kind of like a restaurant. Prices
Yep.
are on the menu.
The old market price. That'll get you every time.
Mhm.
At Main Course SC, where you can find out more details about what they got going on over there. And we hope to be back there very soon. Bill's still trying to figure out how to get that installed right outside the homestead on the banks of Lake
Yeah,
Murray.
I've been looking. I came home and looked at the sunroom last night and wondered how it would hold up. How this green would hold up with kids tracking in water from the lake and everything.
Well, you just
Actually-
have to make a decision. The kids
Right.
or the apparatus. I mean,
Yeah, they
just
are.
saying.
Today is their last day of school, so they're going into 4th and 6th grade. They are almost out of the house.
We're in 6th grade. The exit plan is already in the works there, the Gunter household. From the sports perspective, more of the traditional sports conversation perspective, 3 Gamecocks in the transfer portal now for Gamecock baseball. Jeff Heinrich, Michael Robinson, both those guys infielders, and then outfielder Noah Myers. Basically, traditional is not the right way to put it, but just the natural evolution of things. This time of year after baseball season ends, guys feel like they can further their careers better in other places, and that's what those guys are going to do, never quite carving out starting roles. Heinrich starting the most, I think, 23 games this year, but not producing at third base like the Gamecocks needed him to, for sure, and now we'll try to find another opportunity for his career moving forward. I think the more interesting one, the national headline this morning is Georgia football, one of the best recruiting classes right now in the country, but yesterday had a couple of guys decommit. And now that recruiting has cranked up unlike we've ever seen across the board in college athletics and especially college football, with camps being open and campuses being open starting June 1, I think we're going to get a lot of movement one way or the other. This is just the beginning, just the tip of the iceberg for sure. We'll give you some specifics on that as we continue to roll on this morning. 803-404-6100. We'd love to hear from you. You can call us or text us. Love Chevy phone lines, Cool Care Heating and Air text line up and rolling. We had the conversation in hour number 1 about baseball's, I don't know if it's an epidemic, but it's certainly a big issue now of spin rate and pitchers and what's against the rules, what's a banned substance, how are umpires going to try to rein this thing in. Maybe we can help out with that. And Patrick wanted to bring up Roger Federer and his French Open strategy there, jetting early and just saying he basically wanted a couple of tune-up matches before Wimbledon. So plenty to discuss this morning. Glad you're a part of the show. Hope your Wednesday's off to a good start here. It's the early game. It's 107.5.
In a new attitude. I want guys that want to be here, not just going out there to hire some guy that has a famous last name.
It's not some retreads. We're a bunch of guys that are ready to prove to people that we can do some special things.
New attitude.
I do believe that things always meant to be.
Welcome home.
Not very much school here. This is it. There's no other job in the country. I would have left but to be right here.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5.
From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection.
What day is it anyway?
Man, this Packers thing is a mess. Patrick, you read any of the latest?
Yeah, I mean,
They're
they're just
One more time.
they're deciding whether or not they're going to fine him the $93,000 they're entitled to. And
Yeah, I saw more of like the players saying that they're with Aaron Rodgers.
well, it's an awkward spot for them because you want to support Jordan Love in case he is your quarterback, but you don't want to make Aaron think that you don't still want him more. And if Aaron does come back and they were too vocal in their sport of love, I don't know. I would not want to be asked that question. Like simply just asking a receiver, how does Jordan Love look, puts them in a weird spot just by themselves. Like, hey, you think Jordan Love's ready to start if he needs to? I would not want to answer that question if I was Devontae Adams.
Not the question you want if you're the receiver.
There's no good answer.
Oh, Craig, you got a 6'7" one. Which 6'6" receiver do you know, Bill? Is that the one that you were tweeting?
Yeah,
about?
it was Jaden Gibson. Yeah, I think he's going to Florida State today, maybe.
Too big.
Too big, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Trying to find more on this Federer article.
There's not much to it. It's not controversial. What's controversial is the fact that it's not controversial, I think. People are upset about how he's not getting criticized like Osaka was, but I didn't see too much criticism of her either. I thought everyone was pretty much supporting her, so I guess I'm not seeing the right things.
Damon, by season, we're all going to be back in the studio is the plan right now. So also trying to figure out how to do the live stream while back in the studio. So Jen gets to enjoy her space for a couple of months more until we invade.
No.
Now,
What's that, Jen? I missed the first part.
what is the official date now?
Right after Labor Day.
Oh, okay. I thought it was July 1st.
No, it is going to be September, I think. You got a little bit more time.
Wait, the camera's still on, isn't it? Well, good. I'll make it through the summer without having at least, wrestle Bill for the thermostat. I can at least keep it cool in here. No, usually you're okay, Bill, in the summer. I think it's the winter time where it gets cold.
Oh yeah. Well, you got that big glass.
Yep.
The,
And then I
you
have
know,
the tiny space, so it's two worlds trying to converge on one HVAC unit and it doesn't work well.
Yeah, you got that big, yeah, that gets wildly cold.
Yep. Well, you know what? I ought to start having you come in here because you do like the sauna thing. I mean, we'd prefer you be more dressed, but on the live stream and all. But if you treated this like a sauna.
I think Jen's got some issues she's got to work out here. Not on the live stream. Jen needs the post show live stream to work through some things there.
Trying to make things really good for you. You can multitask while you're on there.
I forgot it. It's been nice. Of course, I got the same kind of window set up here with the big windows, and when it gets cold, it gets chilly in this room.
When it gets cold, it gets chilly. Oh,
Yeah.
Outside, you mean?
Yeah, which one?
No, like the room, it's tough to keep this room heated because of the windows.
You guys are up.
Would love to have your help. A week from today, it's our summer blood drive. American Red Cross, Bull Street in Columbia, downtown there from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're encouraging you. Would love to have your help and would love to have you pre-register right now on our website. You can go 1075thegame.com. Walk-ins will be welcome again. A week from tomorrow, the American Red Cross, our summer blood drive on Bull Street in Columbia from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And everybody who comes to donate gets added to a raffle for a chance to win a pair of tickets to Carowinds, by the way. Who do you like better, mom or dad? I feel like that's where Packers players found themselves yesterday when asked about the Aaron Rodgers situation. Hey, do you support your quarterback? Well, Devontae Adams, the all-world receiver, saying, absolutely, I'll stand on a mountaintop and scream it. That's the edited version of what he had to say. But then at the same time, he comes back and says, but I understand where the front office is and all that stuff. It seems like a terribly awkward position to be in. And this is what Bill and Patrick, I think, this is an issue a college coach never has to deal with, right? A franchise player clearly at odds with the front office and it playing out with him holding out right now and not attending OTAs or not being a part of the team. And yet you have everybody else in there. And you have guys who are friends with Aaron Rodgers. And they were talking about their relationship with him as a friend and being there for him personally and the whole thing. And then at the same time, trying to be sensitive and respectful to the organization that clearly has issues right now with their franchise quarterback. This is something that Urban Meyer has never had to deal with, right? It's part of the problem for Steve Spurrier and others making the jump from college football to the NFL because of a situation like this. And I feel like we're watching it play out before our eyes in maybe a way that we haven't quite seen like this, certainly in 2021 with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. And I just don't see it ending well right now. I thought the Packers players did a decent job yesterday in kind of straddling the line between supporting Aaron Rodgers and not going against management. But that was their first shot at it. They should have had an answer ready to go for the first time. Now, as it continues to evolve, it's just it has to wear on guys because those questions are going to just keep coming up.
I mean, Patrick, what was the story that you told a couple weeks ago, or when we started talking about this, about the I wanted to call him a walk-on, but I guess the undrafted wide receiver that Aaron Rodgers praised a couple of years ago and then got cut?
Jake Kumerow. Yeah, Jake Kumerow was just in the preseason. He had, I guess, a good preseason game or something, and Aaron Rodgers publicly, and I guess his daily press conference or whatever it was, praised him and said he was doing a good job, and they cut him the next day.
I mean, I only say that because, like, do you think there is a little bit of a fear in these guys that's like, man, don't, if they'll do this to Aaron Rodgers and they'll cut Jake Kumerow, who knows what they'll do to me if I go, too invested in Aaron Rodgers? Like, could be looking for work tomorrow.
I think the fear is that Davante Adams won't have Aaron Rodgers throwing him the football, and it's going to cost him millions of dollars and hundreds of yards, if not more. Like, that's the biggest thing. If Jordan Love stinks, Davante Adams is not going to have a good year. It's not going to be good for him going forward. He's already said he's going to be a free agent next year, and he's already said that, yeah, if Aaron Rodgers isn't here, that's definitely going to be influential in my decision where I'm going to sign. So, I mean, he definitely does not want Aaron Rodgers going anywhere. They clearly have a great rapport, and he's a great receiver. But if he goes into next season or his free agency, having come off of like a 600-yard receiving season and only a couple touchdowns because the quarterback just can't deliver the football, that's not good for him. And they're certainly not going to win without him.
If you were the Packers, you guys know how much Aaron Rodgers could be fined total.
Yeah, $93,000, and he's already lost out on $500,000 because the Packers, the way they structure their contracts, is heavily incentivized for off-season workout bonuses because traditionally guys do not want to spend their off-seasons in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So they make it worthwhile to go.
So what's the total number? I assume it's close to 7 figures, huh, Bill?
Well, no, there's a difference. I didn't know that about what Patrick just said about.
It's $93,000 if you miss.
Yeah, it's $93,000.
Just this 3-day camp, the mini camp.
Right. That's what he could be fined. Now, Patrick, he wasn't fined the $500,000.
Yeah, he just didn't get it.
He didn't get it. There's a difference. He's
How on earth will he make his mortgage?
But the Packers don't have to fine him. So the Packers actually have to make the decision: do we want to fine him, or do we want to just let it slide to try and keep him in our good graces?
That's all. Right. That's where I was going with this. What do you do? Like, you don't fine him, right? Because if you fine him, it's not about the money, right? Like,
you're gonna find other guys then?
Well, exactly.
Well, that's the problem, right? You're gonna.
Depends if there's other guys that didn't show up. I don't think I've heard about anybody else holding out. The receivers in solidarity didn't show up to the voluntary workouts, but then everyone showed up to mandatory minicamp.
But there are going to be other guys in the organization getting fined for other specific things, and they're going to be pointing to their quarterback saying, "You're not finding him." Now, the easy answer there, if you're the Packers, like, you're not the MVP. Win the MVP and come back. And David Bakhtiari, the left tackle yesterday, said he would be idiotic if he didn't say he wanted the MVP back on the field. But at the same time, he doesn't want to get in the middle of it. And he said he's one of the guys that went with Rodgers to the Kentucky Derby so quickly. But he's smart enough right now to say, hey, I'm not going to get in the middle of his thing and the organization's thing. I'm always going to be his buddy, however he handles it. And that's easy to say in June. But as this thing gets closer and closer, and it doesn't look like it's going to get resolved anytime soon, and I just see it getting messier and messier. And because of the situation like you're talking about, Bill, and the Packers have a decision to make, right? I think they do have to find him here. Because from Aaron Rodgers' perspective, that's nothing. $93,000. Who cares? Right? I mean, percentage-wise, his salary, everything he's made, that's nothing. But a rookie or another member of that team, nobody else is anywhere close to where Aaron Rodgers is. Even Davante Adams having one of the best seasons in the NFL last year. From a money standpoint, you have to maintain some organizational control. And I think that's what they'll do. I mean, clearly, the organization, it's the Packers organization, the front office, versus Aaron Rodgers right now. And I don't think they're going to back down with this. This seems like a relatively easy call to make him pay that money. And then you go from there, because that money is just going to get astronomically larger, right? When you're talking about preseason workouts and the whole thing. This is just a 3-day minicamp.
I don't think most teams, when they have the option of finding players or have the option of waiving fines, they usually don't find the players. That's why Tom Coughlin came into Jacksonville, started making waves, because he was giving maximum fines to players for small things that really destroyed the organization from within. Like, teams don't want to make their players mad. And I mean, you said a rookie. Like, a rookie would never not show up to mandatory minicamp because they're just going to get cut. Like, you're not in a position to. The only people that are in position to just skip mandatory minicamp are people who aren't going to get fined for missing mandatory minicamp.
I'm with Patrick on this. I don't know if you find. I think right now, if you're the Packers organization, now here's the big question: does the Packers organization want him back? Because I think Patrick said it one time, like, it feels like the organization itself has done everything it can to run Aaron Rodgers off.
Yeah.
And start fresh.
Because it's also not the whole organization. It's literally two guys. It's Gutekunst and Mark Murphy, the president and the GM. Because Matt LaFleur, Aaron Rodgers already said, I have a great relationship with Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur wants it back. So that's why I'm almost surprised the players have been so careful. Like, David Bakhtiari, he's got his contract. And he can just say, yeah, Aaron's my guy. I want him back. Like, if he makes the team president upset, what's he going to do? Trade him? Okay, trade me. Not on playing Green Bay for a terrible quarterback anymore. Get me out of here. It's going to be a mass exodus anyway once everybody hits free agency if Aaron's gone.
I guess, yeah, to that point, all I'm saying is, like, it feels like the Packers, if they find him, Tim, they're escalating the situation even more. Whereas if you just let this blow over and you realize that Aaron Rodgers has earned the right to have some say-so, which is he has, and you continue to try and work toward a peaceful ending in this, that this is a minor bump. I don't think the players are going to complain about him being fined or not being fined one way or the other. I don't think you're going to have any player who's like, well, wait a minute, how come you didn't fine Aaron Rodgers, but you're finding me? I think, as Patrick said, everybody knows the hierarchy of both celebrity status, talent, and where you rank in terms of years in that organization, and nobody's going to complain about Aaron Rodgers. I think if you find him, I know $93,000 is not, as you said, for the Aaron Rodgers contract is not. It's not about the money. It's about the principle. It's that weird, not about the money, about the principle type deal. And if you find him and you're basically saying, look, you're not above the organization, which no player should be, but the way they've treated him so far, I think it just escalates the situation even more at that point.
I think Mark Murphy might just not like him. I think he might levy the fine just because he personally does not like Aaron Rodgers and is just over this whole thing. Like, there was a weird situation on the Packers website where he answers fan questions or fan emails or something, and someone asked him a question that had nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers, and in his answer, he immediately said, yeah, this Aaron Rodgers situation has really divided the fan base. It was like, wait, what? Why are you taking shots at Aaron when all you should be doing is kissing up to him? Like, you guys, you understand, are going to stink without him. That's what is weird about Packers fans that kind of aren't on that side. Like, as a Washington fan who hasn't had a quarterback of that caliber and has a great team but not a quarterback, and that's why we won't be a contender, do you guys understand what you have right now, Packers fans?
No.
Like, do you understand what's going to happen to you without Aaron Rodgers? You've gone from one Hall of Famer to another Hall of Famer, and you just don't know what it looks like to not have that guy.
Well,
you don't want to find out.
When you say, is that fan base divided, is it?
Oh, yeah. Yes. I heard a Packers guy on DC radio yesterday and said they're divided. It's like politics during an election year. People that are anti-Aaron and pro-Packers, like, it's horrible.
Yeah, Bill, you got to understand, this is a lot like the Gamecock baseball fan base being conditioned for national championship runs, right? The Green Bay Packers fan base is just used to having the best quarterback in the league, whether it's Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers. Then it'll be the next guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll do more research on this today. Kind of look around Twitter. It's hard for me to believe there are Packers fans. Again, we're talking about two different entities here. You're talking about the general manager and who'd you say it was, the president?
President, yeah.
Those two guys. If the fans are, I understand to an extent their thinking, because you know what, you get to that level, you've got an ego. you think, hey, we built this franchise. We're the ones that are responsible for it, not Aaron Rodgers. We're the ones that should get credit. We made our draft pick. That's going to be our guy. In a way, a year ago, it was about a year ago, I believe, we're all watching The Last Dance, right? And it was the Jerry Reinsdorf deal where he just decided he was going to blow everything up. He could have brought everybody back. They could have kept it going, but he was just thought he was kind of above he would be able to just recreate it with the coach from Iowa State, Tim Floyd, and they would keep on rolling. It didn't need Phil Jackson or any of those guys anymore. And so I feel like that's what kind of ownership, or the general manager and president are kind of thinking, hey, we've got it. We can keep on doing it. I have a hard time believing the fans are the ones that are looking around, as Patrick just pointed out. And you look across the league and go, we're going to get rid of one of the three best quarterbacks and we're going to keep rolling. It's hard for me to believe the fans would think that.
Oh, just give us a couple first-round picks. We'll get a franchise quarterback. Yeah, it doesn't really work that way.
Difficult, man. Do you support your player? Do you support your organization from the fan standpoint? We'll continue to discuss. 803-404-6100 if you would like to join the show. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Hey, we've got a way to help you get a Zoom call for work. You know when the mute button is on and they can't hear you?
Oh.
You're listening to 107.5 The Game and
So seeing Bill yesterday, he said, that your 1-year-old, is he really that much of a terror these days? So I go back home, like, yeah, he's pretty much all over the place. Go back home and reevaluate, try to look at it with fresh eyes, and stop. I mention my 1-year-old relatively often when I'm telling you about my new appreciation for Zero Res. Zero Res carpet and air duct cleaner's been out to my house a couple of times, done a great job cleaning my carpets, cleaning an area rug for me, cleaning the tiles in both the kitchen and the bathroom. You might say, how does that apply to your 1-year-old? Well, my 1-year-old started walking a little bit early. Now he's already running, and he just doesn't stop. And included in that is picking stuff up off the floor and putting it in his mouth. We're at that stage right now. Fortunately, Zero Res has done such a great job in my house cleaning my carpets, and the way that they do it had nothing to worry about at all, because Zero Res has a patented powered water system. No harsh chemicals involved in their cleaning process. So not only did I get great results, not only do my carpets stay cleaner longer because there's no leftover soapy residue, but the main thing about having Zero Res out to my house, I had nothing to worry about when it came to my little guy, my 6 and 8-year-old also being on the floors right after they were clean. That no harsh chemicals involved in the process, especially important at my house. And I know you probably want to get your house looking its best for the summer. You might have a little extra traffic this time of year with going to the pool or having the kids back out of school, or certainly out of school soon. That's why Zero Res can help you out. ZeroResColumbia.com is the website. You can book your appointment today. 803-262-4020 is the number. 3 rooms of carpet cleaned, only $119, plus a free hallway when you mention me, Tim Hill. Check them out online again, ZeroResColumbia.com, 803-262-4020. That's Zero Res. Spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
Reflection of quality.
Oh no, what will Aaron ever do if they find him? He has no other source of income.
Yeah, I saw that.
Quote by someone who clearly doesn't understand the situation at all.
What'd you say?
Trey's text. Oh no, what will Aaron Rodgers do if he finds them? He has, as if the $93,000 is the part of it that is relevant to the discussion.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers already just decided he didn't need $500,000. Obviously, he's not going to go for if he loses $93,000.
Wow. Will with maybe the most obnoxious, just straight sports text that we've gotten.
Maybe he should study his playbook. Oh my goodness, you're a loser.
Sounds like a fun guy.
Maybe he should study his playbook.
Yeah, that's what you should do. Study his playbook.
That's one of the most intellectual quarterbacks in the history of the game. Yeah, make sure you know the plays.
Oh, stretch this morning.
Morning, Ho.
Also, I didn't even notice. I didn't even read the last sentence. Can't believe you're not talking about the Cowboys winning Super Bowl this year.
You didn't even make it to the Cowboys part?
Yeah.
That shows you the level of obnoxious.
Well, I did. I was listening to PFT last night, and Chris Sims was saying that the Mike McCarthy offense that he made Aaron Rodgers run for 10 years he called it a kindergarten offense.
Wow.
Chris Sims has just become that guy, hasn't he?
What guy?
Absolutely.
Well, for certain things, I completely disrespect his take, but I mean, he does know what a sophisticated NFL offense looks like. So for things like that, I do trust him. But I think he just makes hot takes for the sake of making hot takes.
He's going
Like
hard
his
in the
draft,
no matter what.
yeah, his draft rankings, I think he does just to be inflammatory.
His draft rankings are going to be inflammatory.
No, they are. That's what he does it on purpose. Like I think what he said is here that Kellen Mond was better than Kellen Mond was better than everybody but Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, I think.
Oh yeah, I did see that. That was huge baseball news. Jim Schlossnagle going from TCU to Texas A&M.
From Hagerstown, Maryland.
Huh. Schlossnagle from Hagerstown, huh?
I don't know anything about him, but I did just Google him, and he's from Hagerstown, Maryland. What, you in North Hagerstown High School? It's South Hagerstown. Let's see. That'll tell me everything I need to know.
That type back in. Guys are up.
Just a 3-day mini camp, not a big deal. We saw last year in the COVID situations, a bunch of these things, I think, was completely canceled, and somehow teams move forward. We've seen it in other years where there have been, I think, some union issues where things have been canceled. They don't even have these things. But in the Green Bay Packers situation, it's just from a player's situation. You know you're just going to get put in an awkward situation, or awkward questions are going to come your way. Hey, what do you think about the Aaron Rodgers deal? Have you talked to Aaron recently? What's up with Aaron Rodgers? Do you want him back? That's what they had to do yesterday. And Bill Patrick mentioned the divide amongst the Packers fan base because it's organization versus franchise quarterback. You thought all the Packers fans should be, they should be on Aaron Rodgers' side here. Ben says, my family's all Packers fans, and there's definitely a divide. They feel like Aaron is giving up on the organization, while with Patrick and the fact that Packers fans know they need Rodgers as long as we can. More of you weighing in on this. Another anonymous texter. As a Packer fan, I see both sides of this thing to be a bit of an issue, both at fault with all this. Rodgers is why we are where we are. However, our biggest needs are on defense, not offense. Though drafting Jordan Love without Aaron Rodgers being part of that plan, just to show him that the Packers want to move on, or just showed him that this is an ego situation on both sides. I don't see Aaron leaving, the texter says. I think something will be worked out, if even in the short term. Just shows you a bit of the kind of catch-22 or the pulling on both sides if you're a Packers fan right now. Because, Patrick, you said most organizations don't find players in this situation. Well, most organizations don't draft a quarterback in the first round for a team that has not drafted first-round guys on offense, clearly, and needed weapons to add to an MVP level quarterback. And I think this is a difficult one to handicap as well. The reason why the Packers need more help on defense than on offense is because their quarterback is so good. He makes those guys on offense that good. That's why you don't feel like you need that many more weapons. I mean, Patrick, you're talking about it from the Washington perspective. When's the last time there was a franchise quarterback in Washington?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Kirk Cousins, but
No.
I mean, he's a
Franchise quarterback.
an elite quarterback.
Okay. Who you got? What's the name?
Since they've had an elite quarterback, Joe
Yeah.
Theismann.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he's their last franchise quarterback. Mark Rippon was good for a couple of years. Doug Williams was okay for a couple of years too. But
I mean, 3 Super Bowls, 3 different quarterbacks, so it's not like they had one guy just lead them through all of it.
I just use that as the example because of what you're talking about and how Packers fans have been so spoiled with the transition between Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. It is so atypical in the NFL, Bill. I feel like that when you're using kind of your logic or looking at it, trying to look at it from the Packers fan perspective, you can't do it because it's just so different than most other fan experiences going from Favre to Rodgers.
And almost more importantly, this wouldn't happen in any other organization because every other organization has an owner. And this would have been solved. There's an owner that can step in and say, Aaron, what do you want? You want this guy gone? All right, he's gone. What do you want? You want money? Who do you want us to draft this year? All right, get in the draft room with me. Tell me what you like. We'll take that guy. Like, this would never happen. Robert Kraft dealt with this already 5 years ago when the Patriots drafted Jimmy Garoppolo in the second round. And he said, Bill wanted to move on. He said, no.
Right.
This one that can't happen here because there's no owner. So very unique.
I was just trying to think and it's in my lifetime, although it's very young. I'm trying to think of other quarterback transitions. I think the only one, like you mentioned, Tim, that can compare, and maybe I'm wrong, think of others, that can compare to Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers is Joe Montana to Steve Young. Can you think of any others that were a smooth where there wasn't a significant drop-off when one quarterback left?
Bledsoe to Brady.
I mean,
Yeah, but I guess that one.
Holmes was smooth, but it wasn't Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer.
Right. That's the difference, right? And Bledsoe, I don't think quite Hall of Fame level quarterback certainly doesn't compare to Tom Brady. Yeah, I don't think we've seen it, man. Maybe some more experienced football fans out there can give us a good example. I'm trying to think, go back through the years. We've done this quarterback discussion before about greatest of all time, but they're not a lot from the same organization about the same time. That Montana to Young one, it wasn't necessarily the smoothest one either when you're talking about just from a personnel standpoint. But
well, and
you're right,
Favre to
from
Rodgers wasn't necessarily smooth either because there was
no doubt.
drama there.
Yeah, I think Bill's just talking about production wise, right?
Yeah.
Keeping it at that
Well, yeah,
ridiculously elite level.
like I don't even know if I put because I'm trying to go back and think of what Bledsoe exactly was doing then. I mean, they were a good team, but it felt like it. I think we all kind of agree. Like, if it wasn't, would have the Patriots had the success that they had if Drew Bledsoe stays healthy, and they never have to make the move.
It's impossible to answer, but it would be impossible to imagine that you could continue to have the level of success they did. At some point, Bledsoe would have gotten too old, right? And you'd still have to move on. I mean, we're talking about the most dominant pro franchise in sports in the last couple of decades with the Patriots. Don't forget, though, we were talking about it yesterday with our buddy Mike, who was playing with us in the charity golf thing about how he was a Patriots fan and how Bledsoe took the Patriots to the Super Bowl against Brett Favre back in that 97 year where the Packers won it. Desmond Howard was the Super Bowl MVP. You were going back through that game. So Bledsoe was dang good. And it wasn't just Tom Brady bringing the Patriots out of nowhere, but he certainly helped take them to another level. It is similar in a lot of ways to this Packers situation, the Favre to Rodgers, and now where the Packers kind of stand versus their quarterback, organization versus the quarterback. More Packers fans weighing in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. 803-404-6100. Get you some of those thoughts. We'd love to hear more from you as well. You can call that number on the Love Chevy phone line, 404-6100. It's the early game. It's 107.5 The Game.
The home of the Gamecocks and new head football coach Shane Beamer. 107.5 The Game.
Today is an absolute dream come true. Not just to be a head football coach in the Southeastern Conference, but to be the head coach at the University of South Carolina.
Welcome, Coach.
From the Shepherd's Blast.
Jason Campbell. Good joke there. Good joke there from Craig. Patrick did not find it.
He was a
Kirk
first,
Cousins.
Jason Campbell, a first round pick. Was he 15
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah, he was the pick after Aaron Rodgers.
23.
I've heard of Lake Lanier. Where is Lake Lanier? Do you guys know? Do you know, Patrick, where Lake Lanier is?
That's the one in Georgia,
Is it?
right?
Good for you, Mark.
Lake Jocassee is in. I always get them mixed up. Lake Jocassee's in North Carolina, and Lake Lanier's in Georgia. I think it's in northern Georgia, if I'm thinking correctly. One of them's kind of weird. You can't have. I think it's Lake Jocassee. You can't have a motorized boat. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. But I think that's Lake Jocassee up in kind of what is it, close to Asheville maybe?
Don't know. A lot of Manning Deluxe texts.
Yeah, I got that. I like the one that talked about basically the no O-line. I'll mention that one. What about the
They also never played together, so it's not the same thing.
what's that?
They also never played on the same team together, and the 2-14 season without Peyton is the whole reason they were able to get Andrew Luck. So
What about that text about Michael Vick and Matt Ryan? How far were they apart? You know? I'm gonna guess 2 years.
Michael Vick. 2004. That was the same year, I think.
Really?
Really?
Like the very next year, yeah.
Oh, it's strange. I don't really remember all that going down with Michael Vick and the Falcons. I mean, I remember the dog stuff, but how did they have a bad year that allowed them to get a good draft pick, or?
Yeah, it was similar to the Manning Luck thing. So in
Right.
2006, Michael Vick played all 16 games, and then they had a Joey Harrington season.
That's what it was.
I think Joey Harrington's got probably responsible for Matt Ryan. Was he in Detroit the next year? That'd be pretty legendary if he got
Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford the very next year, yeah.
Chris, I think that, yeah, I hear it now. That a little bit. It might just be one of our connections today, kind of thumping like that.
Joey Harrington was in Detroit before Atlanta. It was Orlovsky that earned them Matt Stafford.
Ah,
The kids have not started playing basketball yet this morning, so I can't take credit for that.
I don't think it's me. I don't unless I've walked around, but I was stretching. My hip hurts.
I think it's just a technical thing this morning. I know streaming service had some issues yesterday. That's QB2 of all time. Steve Young. Simple.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to – Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady.
All right, can I have just a little over a minute? You guys are up.
A lot of Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck text in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Patrick, you kind of accept that from the Favre to Rodgers situation?
Kind of, but Montana and Young were on the same team. Favre and Rodgers were on the same team. Peyton Manning got hurt, missed the whole season, and the Colts were a 2-win team, and that allowed them to get Andrew Luck. So it wasn't a seamless transition, and they never played on the same team together.
An anonymous texter says, if our GM at the time wasn't abysmal, Peyton to Luck would have been an elite transition. Unfortunately, Luck got destroyed.
Ryan Gregson is a stooge.
Another texter suggested Michael Vick to Matt Ryan. That's coming from Kelly. And there was a year in between there with Joey Harrington. We just looked up in between that one. 06, Vick played all 16 games. You saw Patrick. 07, He got suspended. Harrington was in there. And then the Falcons draft Matt Ryan in 2008. Elite quarterback transitions, the Aaron Rodgers situation. Georgia lost out on a couple of commits. Gamecock baseball transfers all coming up in hour 3 here on the early game. Captain Andrew Luck is fantastic today, no doubt.
Have you noticed that there's about 100 of those now?
No, that's sad.
It's just not funny anymore because people have made a general whatever, captain whatever.
Ron Jaworski to Randall Cunningham. Wow.
Right, you are not that old.
That is an interesting poll there, sir.
What's the best one in college?
There's so many in college, right?
Yeah. Was there back-to-back national championships recently?
I don't know. Wouldn't you have to get? I think what did he end up being? QB number 3, Cardell Jones. Wasn't he QB number 3 when he came in? He beat Alabama, and then who they beat for the national championship?
I thought it was Alabama. No.
I can't remember who they beat. I thought they beat Alabama in the first round, and then beat.
Was it Oregon?
Might have been.
I think you're right. I think it was Oregon in the national championship
With LaMichael James and who was the quarterback number 5?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but the name is
Picture.
Darren. His name was Darren, wasn't it? Now you gotta be thinking Darren.
I'll look it up.
Darren Thomas.
Darren Thomas. Yeah, I'm getting some more coffee.
Let's see. Best ever transition in college. I was thinking the old Miami days.
Yeah, it was Oregon. It has to be back-to-back national championships with 2 different quarterbacks.
Well, I mean, you could say right now it might be at Alabama, right?
Yeah, but they have to win championships because Tua to Mac Jones to Bryce Young could be, but Tua didn't win the national championship the year before. I mean, he did win a national championship, kind of.
Jalen Hurts never won one. Did he win it his freshman year?
Yeah, he did his freshman year, yeah.
Hurts to Tua to Mac Jones is pretty dang good.
Were there back-to-back championships with 2 different quarterbacks? Has that happened? It had to have happened, right? At some point.
I don't know about that. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I was actually, Trey said Clemson fans perk up. That's what I was thinking.
Wait a minute. It can't be any of the Alabama quarter, maybe Tua, because Tua came in the second quarter or second half.
Yeah. No,
I'll give you another one.
Back
I'll give
to
you
back.
another one that Tim will remember, but Patrick won't remember. I'm pretty sure he won a national championship at Nebraska in the 90s. You know what I'm talking about, Tim?
Scott Frost?
No. I think he came in for Scott. No, he came.
Tommy Frazier?
Oh, Frazier, I think might have been actually the quarterback got hurt. Hold on, let me make sure.
Doesn't Nebraska not count? Weren't they like a dominating running team?
Brooks Bollinger is the quarterback I'm talking about, and I think that was the year that Tommy Frost had the blood clots. Not Tommy Frost. That's combining. Tommy Frazier had the blood. Was it Scott Frost? Because apparently Brooks Bollinger played at Wisconsin. Frazier had blood clots, and somebody came in for him. Was it Scott Frost?
Yeah, hey,
They had I don't know what I was watching. I guess it's the Big Ten Network, but it was 1994 Nebraska Colorado game. Took me back going over to my buddy's house. It was his family's from Nebraska and watching that the other day.
I don't even get the reference there, Ty.
Brooke Behringer. Brooke Behringer is who I was looking for. Not Bollinger. 94 season. Drop back passer Brooke Behringer led the team to the FedEx Orange Bowl with a 12-0 record, where the Cornhuskers faced the third-ranked Miami Hurricanes in the national championship game. Frazier started the game but was replaced by Behringer after a deep end zone throw in Nebraska's initial drive resulted in a turnover. Frazier came back in the national championship game, led 2 touchdown drives to give Nebraska a 24-17 victory.
I like the Temptations. I never saw the Temptation movie. Apparently, David Ruffin, though, is the lead singer.
Is
Or the class clown.
or the
I'm looking up David Ruffin. Is it David Ruffin or David Ruffin Jr.?
I don't know. If you Google the Temptations, he's the last one listed. So maybe he's saying you're the fourth. You're the
Yeah, I
fourth
can
fiddle
afford
here.
that. That'll be fine. For his unique, raspy, and angerish tenor vocals.
He just enjoys your voice.
Anguished.
You're anguished.
Anguished. I am anguished. He's ranked as one of the 100 greatest singers of all time. I'll take that.
Yeah, but the other ones were top 50.
Were they? Are you just saying
I
that?
don't know. I'm just saying that. He was a tenor. I would be the bass, Melvin Franklin.
We are in the open.
I'm having too much fun reading about David Ruffin and the Temptations. Can we pump it back?
How are we doing this time-wise? We're doing 2 segments with an 8:30 phone call. Are we going longer or shorter here?
Shorter.
And Steve's still on the phone. You guys are up.
Right to Kerry Collins, Lance Harbor, Jonathan Moxon. Excellent suggestions on the Cool Carrot Eating Air text line talking about big-time quarterback transitions throughout history. Some in cinematic history and varsity blues. Some in the NFL. We've gotten a Ron Jaworski to Randall Cunningham suggestion from Trey back in the day. What was that again?
Harry Orth to Jake Bentley.
Keeping them going. You're talking about the Aaron Rodgers situations with the Green Bay Packers, and the 3-day minicamp going on for the Packers yesterday is why this has come up most recently, where Packers teammates have had to be put in a situation now to comment on this. Say they support their quarterback as a friend and a person, but they also understand where management's coming from, and they don't want to get in the middle. And it's in June, you can get away with that in your initial comments, and then it's just going to keep coming. Mess, I think, is how I see it anyway. Ray has the question: what can even be done now to resolve the Rodgers situation if they want to keep him? Landrum goes with a lengthier text, 803-404-6100. By the way, if you'd like to hit us up on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line, same number if you want to call. We'll get out to that Love Chevy phone line in just a second. But Matthew first says, as a Packers fan, have been a fan since I was born, I was quite upset at the organization after how the Brett Favre ended. Then and now with Aaron Rodgers, I can see it from both sides. To be honest, they should let go of Brian Gutekunst, not just because of the Jordan Love pick, but because I don't think he's done enough good to lose the best quarterback in the league. But I also believe Aaron Rodgers is way too emotionally driven sometimes, much like he was in the last few big games Green Bay has played in. He's let the pressure get to him. I think that's a good insight into a Green Bay Packers fan's mindset after being able to have the luxury of having Aaron Rodgers for, 15 years, whatever it is, and having Brett Favre before them. And then it's great to have Patrick's perspective as well as a 25-year-old Washington football team fan, having never seen a franchise quarterback. You mentioned Kirk Cousins is your guy. That's at the top of your list in your lifetime, right? Of quarterback play in a Washington uniform. Alex Smith, maybe, right near him.
Mm-hmm.
Throw in there. Anybody?
Well, I mean, the only season of elite quarterback play I've seen in my life was RG3's rookie year.
There you go. Whew. Rough.
Where you felt like you could beat any team because you had that quarterback. And that's like because the Packers, I don't think Matthew made a good point about get rid of Gutekunst, not just because he has beat with Rodgers, because he hasn't done that great of a job. Like, I don't think the Packers have a great roster. Jair Alexander's incredible. David Bakhtiari's great. Devontae Adams is great. Outside that, they're not very good. And
Aaron Jones, pretty good.
he's good. He's a good running back. But like Washington's roster, if you take the quarterback out, it's way better than the Packers. But the Packers are a Super Bowl contender, and we are not because they have Aaron Rodgers. So I mean, and also I don't think he shrinks in big games. Like Aaron Rodgers, they almost beat the Super Bowl champion Bucs in the NFC Championship last year and decided to a football field. So I kind of disagree that he not played well in big moments because he's emotional.
Well, didn't we get more upset? Or I say we, but shouldn't have people been more upset with the Packers defense early on against?
Well, Kevin King played the worst game.
Yeah, I didn't want to narrow it down to one guy,
played,
but yeah.
No, it was Kevin King. Then they re-signed him.
Patrick loves that reference. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. More of your thoughts. Steve would like to join the conversation at 803-404-6100. Hey, Steve.
Hey, what's going on?
Morning, sir.
Morning. Kid, you were just talking about history. You just brought up history a couple times. And the way I look at it, he hasn't done anything, first of all. Second of all, I mean, you got to learn from history. I mean, we just went through that with Favre and Rodgers. It's simple things, but he didn't look at history and learn from it. And we're not trying to make it. I mean, this is no piss off the Hall of Fame.
Appreciate the phone call, Steve. History. So I think where Steve's coming from, the exact opposite of Richard. Richard says they need to go ahead and trade Aaron Rodgers, get as much as they can, and move on. He said he doesn't want to be there, so trust in your management skills to draft and put together a great team. No one guy is bigger than the team when the team is assembled correctly. Well, in theory, sure. But I think to Steve's point, the odds of getting a Hall of Fame quarterback, to Patrick's long-suffering perspective of being a Washington fan, I mean, how many other organizations are we going to throw in there? There are tons, right?
I got one in particular. Somebody hit us up on the text line, but I'll go back and go through Miami Dolphin quarterbacks.
Right. Still trying to place Marino. Somebody put it up there.
There are multiple franchises that have never had an elite quarterback in their history.
Hello.
Yep.
That's a Chicago Bears fan chiming in right there. It's a great example. And this is why, to me, you have to be sophisticated when you're a fan looking at an NFL organization in these situations, but especially when you're an NFL GM or team president. I mean, you got to have an ego. There's no doubt about it. You got to believe in yourself and your ability to put together the roster and the whole thing. But this is where I always found Steve Spurrier fascinating, right? Because Spurrier understood with the Jadeveon Clowney situation, I thought it was the most evident, right? And him coming out and basically apologizing for throwing Clowney under the bus when he didn't play one game. And he said he was hurt and he didn't really communicate it well. And then the next week he's talking about how Jadeveon Clowney did South Carolina a favor by coming to the University of South Carolina at the time and everything else. He understood how important, how valuable star players are, how rare they can be, what an impact they can have. And Aaron Rodgers is right there in the NFL still at his age. I mean, he just won the MVP. You have to treat these guys differently. And to me, that drafting of Jordan Love, man, Bill, I think your reference, you're equating this situation to the Jerry Reinsdorf and the end of the Bulls era, I think it's perfect. It's right on. That front office guys get it twisted. They start to take much more credit than they have earned in these situations, especially, I mean, Gutekunst, when did he take over in Green Bay? 3 years?
Yeah. And then so he's drafted 3 times, and the problem with trading him is if you trade Aaron Rodgers and he wins a Super Bowl and Jordan Love stinks, well, why do you deserve a job? You traded up to get Jordan Love with an MVP quarterback on your team, and then clearly you made the wrong decision. Like, you clearly can't evaluate talent. Gutekunst came from scouting, so, I mean, that's his background, but that's a fireable offense. So I would just say, if you want to give me 4 first-round picks, okay, you can have Aaron Rodgers. If not, I force him to retire if he doesn't want to play for me. You can lose your job.
I just laugh because I go back to the visual image of Aaron Rodgers. Did he say he fixed tequila before the draft pick or after the draft pick? But all I
He's
can
a
do
Scotch guy.
Yeah, Scotch.
5 fingers of Scotch. Yeah.
I thought he said he fixed it. I'll go back and look at that. I thought he said he fixed tequila because I can just the visual image of him sitting down, you know, whatever it was, the 23rd, 24th, 25th pick, whatever it was, sitting down thinking, all right, we're a wide receiver away. I wonder who they're going to get me. They haven't let me in on it. And then, like, you're holding your glass of whatever he had, and they announced Jordan Love, just like as Patrick says, a fireable offense. Because that's the other thing, like, for most franchises, and I put the Packers in there, your window of opportunity before you have to rebuild is so small. I mean, the Patriots obviously don't fit that mold, but even now, you look at the Buccaneers at Brady's age. What do we think they've got this year and maybe next year? You guys willing to give them next year?
I'm willing to give him as long as Tom Brady decides he wants to keep playing.
Okay.
I can't put a year on it anymore. I think that question's been asked for how many years in a row, right? The last 8 years. How many more years you get Brady? 1 or 2? What do you think?
Oh, we're all right, by the way, on the Aaron Rodgers thing. It says typically a Scotch man. Rodgers told NFL Media's Kyle Brandt that he was watching the draft closely and fixed tequila when the Packers traded up the 4 spots.
So he drinks Scotch for pleasure and tequila when he's mad.
I think what we just learned on the show, Patrick, is Bill when it comes to the brand flick.
Scotch make you violent. Tequila makes you fun. I don't know.
Might
The rest
depend
of
on
that
person.
was this is the actual quote. I was like, oh, wow, okay, Roger said. I love Scotch, but I've been drinking some sipping tequila lately. But once I got the text that Love was the pick, I went to the pantry. I poured myself about 4 fingers of tequila. I knew it was going to be one of those people's calling.
I don't think he's ever going to play again. He's a booze hound.
Clearly, it has affected his play. MVP season. Never going to play again.
No, but I'm saying the videos of him playing the ukulele in Hawaii, getting drunk with Miles Teller, who's getting punched in the face in Hawaii, and he's got a Hollywood actress wife now. He's done.
Yeah.
I would just hang it up.
quarterbacks-
Wait a minute.
They don't have that
You
reputation.
just saw Tom Brady like basically be carried out of a celebration in Tampa. Like I mean, just
For one
absolutely
day.
looks like a college frat guy coming off the boat in Tampa.
For one
And
day
we're
during
gonna
their
Aaron
Super
Rodgers
Bowl.
a little bit.
Oh, yeah, because it's the same thing. Tom Brady getting drunk for his Super Bowl parade, the only time you've ever seen that, versus Aaron Rodgers playing the ukulele. And I don't think he is.
Brandon, good suggestion on Facebook Live. Drew Brees to Phillip Rivers, a pretty solid transition for San Diego, but I'd say Drew Brees wasn't quite to the level of what he obviously became, for sure. Matt's got a good point on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Imagine how awkward Jordan Love must feel. And that goes back to just where this situation is for the Packers in general. Plenty more of you weighing in on this situation. Love to hear more of your thoughts. 803-404-6100. Packers players having to talk about it. Like not there, and it's team versus player. Bun mentioned as well. He's with you, Bill. Green Bay fans are delusional. I would never guess the Rodgers situation was divisive. LOL. I hope he does leave now. We'll continue to discuss. Love to hear from you. Oh, we got the details too. Transfers from Gamecock baseball. It's decommitting at Georgia football. We'll give you those details when we come back. It's the early game. It's 107.5 again.
Just scrolling through the temperatures the next few days, looks like it's going to be high 80s. I see we're going to touch 90 once here coming up on Thursday. Whatever it is, you know what's on the way. The high 90s temperature that we get with 100% humidity here in Columbia, South Carolina. It means you better have your air conditioner ready and working. Now's the time. Don't wait around until the dog days of summer here. Get in touch with AAA Heating and Air today. Roy and Dana Finley will make sure that your air conditioning unit is working properly and ready to handle the heat of the summer. Give them a call, 803-677-1500. If they do find an issue, this is the important part and where you should listen closely. If there is an issue, something is wrong, it needs to be replaced, that can cost a lot of money. But with AAA Heating and Air, they're going to offer you a $1,500 rebate to take away your old unit. Then they're going to work with you. They're going to make sure that they don't put you in a bad situation financially by working with you, offering no money down and 0% financing on a brand new unit. That's treating you like a family member. Something goes wrong along the way, guess what? AAA Heating and Air has got you taken care of again. They've got a 15-year parts and labor warranty to make sure you keep that air conditioner working so that during the summer, you and the family are happy. 803-677-1500. That phone number again. Give them a call. Get them out there today. Get your unit inspected. Make sure that it's working properly. 803-677-1500. Give AAA Heating and Air a call. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Another stall back, Danny White. Come on. Come on. Oh,
Oh, my goodness. It's going to be one of those days. Really need to see what I can get done to try trying to figure out how to get one of these greens in, these putting greens in. I think it was ridiculous.
Service results in a commitment to customer satisfaction. It's 356-1919. See all that Midstate has to offer when you click on MidstateRoofing.com. Tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
356-1919. MidstateRoofing.com. The demand for your used car is at all-time high, and it's never been worth more. Hurry and ship. It needs your trade. We'll buy your car, even if you don't buy ours. And to prove it, we're willing to beat any written offer by $500. That's right. We'll beat any written
So,
offer.
Jen, will you just let us know when Marty is called in? We'll pop him right in, actually, and we'll try to take a break on 42 or so.
Tim, you see this text message from Dakota?
No.
I see it.
I said, Tim,
Checked it out yet.
that's pretty good. I had it 4 years ago today.
That's crazy.
The name tag debate. Wow.
Oh my gosh, I totally had forgotten about that.
Yeah, he
was
just
so
sent us up.
fun.
I guess it popped up. I don't know. It must have popped. I don't know if he's got some kind of.
Yeah, does it do that on Twitter?
I don't think it does.
Is that right?
That would seem annoying.
I know they do it on Facebook, but
Right. I guess you could probably set up Twitter that way as well. I'm glad mine's not set up that way. Or maybe that was just one of his more popular tweets or something. I don't
He
know.
was just happy to hold that one. Make it creepy.
Yeah, we need to get Patrick's take on that. We'll do that too. Patrick, what's your take? Name tags. If you go into a store or a restaurant and someone has a name tag on, do you utilize that name tag and call them by their first name?
Yeah, always.
Do you feel the obligation to tell them your name?
No.
Oh, he's on Team Bill.
Yeah.
Like
because I think
my
of
server at a restaurant,
Uh-huh.
if they bring me my food and they have a name tag, I'd say, yeah, thank you. Like,
but even if they haven't told you their name,
yeah.
Yeah, they haven't. They have told you their name. They're wearing a name tag.
well, yeah, but they didn't tell you. It's like
Required to wear the name tag, sir.
right. See,
That's
like
to tell you their name.
no, if they
But
didn't,
why would I tell them my name?
So you can be on equal footing as human beings.
like in the Santa Claus, he's like, "Hello, Judy," like
Yeah.
so that's kind of what I
But-
think of. Like, if she didn't say, "Hi, my name is Judy," then you say, "Hey, Judy,"
If my server puts down their food on the table, and I say, thank you, Tim, I'm Patrick. How weird would that be?
No, I think this one was specifically, was it Firehouse you were talking about?
Yeah,
that's-
I'd gone to the firehouse and said something to the girl, or I can't remember the exact. Obviously, it was a situation that was worth bringing back up. It wasn't just a regular conversation because I think I said her name or something, and she
And
seemed
she-
a little taken aback.
she
Or
was a little weirded out. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the problem there, Trey. That first line, Julia is there to serve me. So rude. She doesn't have any reason to know my name. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is a service industry, but I don't think of it as serving you.
But I think the reason this became an issue because clearly Bill had interest in this restaurant employee beyond the service of the restaurant.
I don't know if that was the
100%
case. I don't remember
name,
because she was pretty young, if I remember the story correctly. I don't know if that was the case.
We're about to head back in.
Patrick, what did you say?
If it's
Karma got him.
Yep.
that makes it 100% more likely for you to use the name. I would, yeah.
Timing perfect.
No, I know that one. I've seen that one. That's a good one.
All right, you're up.
Aaron Rodgers and his status as a gangster here. A lot of people see him. A lot of people not happy with Aaron Rodgers in this situation with the Packers, and I get that because a lot of us are just jealous. I think is where it comes from, that we've never been in a position of power and made nearly the money that superstar athletes have made, have had nearly the success of being an MVP of the league or Super Bowl winning quarterback. We're not on commercials selling you insurance or the whole thing. We didn't go to the Kentucky Derby. We're not involved with A-list celebrities or NASCAR, IndyCar drivers, whatever, Danica Patrick, wherever you put her in that situation. That's how I take that situation. Now it's interesting to me. We talk about this today because Green Bay Packers players have been put in an awkward position, and they were specifically yesterday attending a 3-day workout. Mandatory minicamp, right? That Aaron Rodgers is skipping. And I get, for those of you who go to work every day, the idea that you can just skip work because you're really good at your job is maddening, right? But this is one of those things that we can't do. Like, hey, if I did that at my job, I'd get in big trouble. Well, your job isn't the NFL. The NFL is much different. And Aaron Rodgers is much different than nearly any other NFL quarterback, right? Having won the MVP and being in the position he's in. I'm not a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. Let me get that very clear out there. He definitely does some things that rubs me the wrong way. He comes off for sure as a little
Arrogant.
Yeah, that's not quite the word I would use, but I get that. I mean, I love seeing a guy play with confidence and enjoying football. He enjoys football, right? And he's not going to celebrate, and clearly a tremendous player. But just going back to his draft night, man, sitting there in the draft room and as he slides from top of the draft to what was it, 21 or wherever it was, the Packers eventually took him. Things he says sometimes, I'm like, clearly this guy thinks a little differently, and it's not something that I follow, but that's probably all part of his genius, right? But in general, Bill, don't we normally side with superstar players in situations against management, or do we normally side with management as just fans? I'm trying to go back through my head and remember some of these, or is it always it's the devil's in the detail, and that is going to be where public sentiment falls one way or the other? Because I feel like you were talking about, most people are behind Aaron Rodgers in this situation as opposed to the Green Bay Packers organization because of how silly they look drafting an unproven college quarterback and a guy who didn't even dress out in a lot of games last year and clearly doesn't seem to be ready to take over as anywhere close to a franchise quarterback, and much less a Hall of Fame quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, and before him, Brett Favre.
I'm trying to think of another situation where we've sided with management against the player, as opposed to this. I know there are some. I just off the top of my head can't.
Steelers, Le'Veon Bell, sit out, fine. Right? I think a lot of people were the Steelers, like prima donna running back.
Yeah,
I think was a thought process at that point.
Patrick,
a guy who
do you
thinks
think of
he's
any
more
in the NFL or
valuable than he
NBA?
is.
Were you sided with the players?
Where you sided with
No, the
management over
organization.
the player and basically was like,
I-
"Hey, let him sit down."
well, yeah, I think mostly in the NFL you side with the organization, even though it's kind of counter to the rest of life. Like normally you're pro employee versus pro corporation, but in football it's a little different. And I think a lot of that, it's definitely starting to change, but now people are trying to cling on to, don't turn the NFL into the NBA where the players just pick where they play and certain teams have no chance. Like that's kind of the thing. And fandom also added into the equation is weird because like I am on Aaron Rodgers' side if I had to pick a side, but if this was happening in Washington, I would be probably offended. And I would say, why would you not want to play for us? We're like, you don't like DC, you don't want to represent, you don't want to wear the burgundy and gold anymore. And Packers fans are prideful. They're like, we're the most legendary organization in the NFL. You don't want to play for us? Screw you. We don't need you. We're the Green Bay Packers. Like Lambeau Field. You don't want to play in Lambeau Field? Like I would definitely like puff my chest out and be like, why who do you think you are? But because I mean, Jordan Love didn't put on the Packers uniform last year, and the Packers were an incomplete roster. And you tell me, like, they traded up to get Jordan Love. So not only did they not use a first-round pick for somebody that could contribute to making a Super Bowl run, they traded another pick that could have been a player that contributed to a Super Bowl run. Like, they just didn't appreciate that their window was open. Like, this is where you get guys that you need. If they drafted a corner last year, so Kevin King didn't have to start and get torched in the NFC Championship, they drafted a receiver so they had a second option. I mean, would have probably changed.
It's a multi-layered situation that has a lot of different angles to it, and I can see it from different sides for sure. Why don't we get an expert opinion in on the program right now? Former Gamecock Marty Simpson, now turned comedian, going to be having a big show here in Columbia. We'll give you details on that, but nice enough to join us on the Love Chevy phone lines right now. Marty, let's start, I'm sure, with what you are talking about all the time these days. Are you pro Aaron Rodgers or pro Green Bay Packers right now? How's it gonna play out? Is Aaron Rodgers ever gonna play for the Packers again? He's Marty Simpson, former Gamecock football player, now a comedian, going to have a show at Northside Baptist Church coming up on Sunday. That's going to be at 5 o'clock, and we've got some tickets for you right now. Give us a shout at 803-404-6100 if you would like to go see Marty Simpson on Sunday, 5 o'clock, Northside Baptist Church out in Lexington. 4347 Sunset Boulevard is the address. Marty, knowing that you're going to be on with us this morning, I just Googled you yesterday and saw your I think it was your latest special. It looked like it was a show from out in Utah. It has like 207,000 views or something, man. How the comedy world is treating you these days?
Better go buy some toilet paper now. So I had about 60 live shows canceled on contract and had to pivot to a virtual existence. So I'm very grateful to Northside Baptist Church for getting back on live events, and anybody else's reckless behavior that wants to come out in public would be a blessing to my family to come out in public and do that. And hopefully you've been vaccinated. But if not, I'm happy to give you a fist bump and sell you a t-shirt. So either way, it's great that Northside's doing this, and a 5 o'clock show. That's a raucous time, you know. Baptist churches on Sunday night doing a 5 o'clock show. That's when all normal comedy happens. But you know, I feel like it's the most Baptist thing you can do, to show up to church at 5 o'clock and then go out for drinks afterwards and not tell anybody you did that. That's about as Baptist as it can be, right? So come on out, and it'll be a good time.
He's former Gamecock football player Marty Simpson, comedian. 5 o'clock Sunday. Northside Baptist Church in Lexington, going to be making everybody laugh. And I believe the title of your last comedy show is that When You Lie to Your Wife, or Why You Should Lie to Your Wife. Was that what it was?
Well, that is what Dry Bar Comedy just puts on it to make it a click title, like me, and that helps people click it more. It probably is what I should have named it to get people to click it more. The name of the actual special, from my perspective, was "I Am Coach," and but then they send out the clips to their Facebook feed. They see what gets the response and what gets the likes, and then they change the clickbaity title to it. So, but yeah, I don't know. Do you lie to your wife? Is there a right time to lie to your wife? I mean, I've only been married 27 years, so I only have 27 years worth of data to go with. But I would go with, there's occasional time when it's okay to lie to your wife.
Three times the length of marriage. I'll defer to you on that one, but I can identify more with your. I think your 7-year-old son is how you told the story about when he lies and how terrible a liar he is, and it's more of a
that was fun raising.
Like on the radio, we have a delay every now and again with Bill, right? Bill, sometimes we're on the delay, and sometimes our conversation is kind of like that. And I feel like that's when Marty can also tell his son is lying. It's a very similar to a radio delay, wouldn't you say, Marty?
Yeah, it is like a Zoom delay. Like, hey, Walt, where were you? Now he's a teenager, and so he's seen my act enough times, so he comes in quickly with rapid fire answers. That's when I get a little bit nervous now, because I'm like, he's trying to come up with an answer really quickly. That seems suspicious.
No doubt about it.
He's like driven home from wherever he was, and he's like, I can't come in and deny anything. I got to just come in with quick answers now.
Yeah. But, Marty,
fun.
Bill's on the other end of this thing. He's got a nearing teenage daughter age. So, Bill, have you noticed any trends there when it comes to the truthiness of the conversations?
No, they sadly know Dad is when it comes to that kind of stuff. Well, we had that one incident. They don't lie. The mushroom incident with Austin about a year and a half ago, where the kid doesn't like mushrooms, and I didn't know what it is. Eat your food that your dad puts in front of you. And I gave him a plate. It was like a steak and had some mushrooms off to the side. And I turned around. I turned my back for, I don't know, about 8 seconds, and turned around and the mushrooms were gone. I was like, oh, yeah, you ate those? He's like, oh, yep. I did what you told me to, Dad. I held my nose and I ate them, and they were delicious. And like a day later, I go downstairs to where my bedroom is, and I go in the bathroom and I look in the trash can, and there's like 4 mushrooms in the trash can. Dude had put them in his pocket and took them downstairs and threw them away like I wouldn't find them in that trash can. So other than that, they're
I'm conflicted. I'm conflicted by that answer of his, because he's having manners to obey his father at the dinner table. So that's like column A, check. And also, I'd like to point out to the listeners that while Bill Gunter just used "is what it is," like Bill Belichick about his daughter's or son's dislike of mushrooms at the dinner table. That was a good "is what it is" call. It is what it is. That was like a straight athletic radio DJ announcer's view of their son's eating habits.
Yeah, I think
we had like mushroom risotto a couple of weeks ago. I fixed some mushroom risotto, and you couldn't even see the mushrooms. He didn't even know about it. He just happened to discover the package and was like, "Does this got mushrooms in it?" I was like, "You can't tell." And so he wouldn't eat the risotto after that. So you figure out what they like and what they don't like, and you try to avoid it.
Now, I think the "is what it is," Marty, think is how a lot of Gamecock fans would describe Gamecock football for the last several years. What about a former letter winner in yourself, and now moving on to the Shane Beamer era?
I mean, I would say it is what it is an optimistic rose-colored glasses view of the last 5 years. Like, it's been kind of terrible. I mean, I'm very, 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 very excited about Shane Beamer, just because it looks like, I mean, I could be wrong, but it looks like he wants to be here. And so that just has a smell to it that is just exciting for me. And also, I'd like to point out, while Spurrier was here for 10 years and while Muschamp was here for 5, Beamer has already put out more social media video than 15 years combined of what the other 2 coaches did. So I just think that the young coaches, Josh Stepp, Shane Beamer, these guys understand what the recruits are going to need, what the people are going to need. It's a different world that we live in, like Spurrier liked to do it his way and take no questions, and nobody got to question him, and that isn't the way the world operates. So I'm fired up that a guy wants to be at South Carolina. I'm fired up that the young coaches seem like they have a heartbeat on the pulse of what's going on. I'm also fired up that all the names you can remember from the last 15 years, Beamer was probably the guy recruiting. So I'm pretty excited. I don't know. I mean, it's always fun. Yeah, I'm 49 years old, grew up a Gamecock, so the 8-month window around the new coach is kind of an every 4 to 6 year ordeal, and it's a good season. It's good fun to be in.
He's Marty Simpson, former Gamecock, now comedian, going to be at Northside Baptist Church this Sunday at 5:00, and looking forward to the raucous time for comedy, like you mentioned there. Looking forward to getting back, I guess, more towards normal, right? Will a lot of your discussion, a lot of your material deal with the pause in the comedy world that you talked about for more than a year now, or where are you going with most of your stuff these days?
Well, I tell people, 300 million Americans immediately became stand-up comics when the country shut down because nobody knew where their paycheck was coming from for 4 to 6 months at a time, and everybody just wandered around the house all day. What I'm saying is I've prepared for this moment for 17 years of my life. Like, I'm a professional quarantiner. So this is, I'm just excited to do live comedy, man. Zoom calls, I pivoted to virtual Zoom calls. If you're out there listening, you need a Zoom call, you need your sales meeting, you need your meeting on Zoom to be a little peppier. Call my agent, we'll put something together. But, feeling dead inside, if that's what you want to do when you wake up in the morning and feel dead inside, just become a Zoom call comedian. That is what we dream about when you watch Seinfeld when you're in college in front of that red brick wall and you're like, oh, maybe one day I'll do a Zoom call for 9 people in Scotland for one more situation. Then I'll really feel like I'm doing something. Yeah. No, I'd also like to point out, people are like, Marty, I want to come see you in Columbia. When can I come see you in Columbia? And then they find out it's at a church. And when I go across the country and headline comedy clubs, I do the same act there that I'm going to do at Northside Baptist Church. So if you like your comedy edgy and right on the edge, you might be surprised at how close to that line I'll lean on and peer to the other side of that line, even at a Baptist church. So come on out. And it's 5:00, so you got time to do everything you need to do afterwards. You might not even need an Uber. You can come to the show and then go out, But if you're a normal Baptist, you can go ahead and do what you're going to do in the afternoon and then need your designated driver for the show at 5. Maybe I'm generalizing Baptists. I'm sorry. But, the old joke about Baptists, right? Can't take one Baptist fishing with you because you got to take 2 Baptists fishing with you. Because if you take 2 Baptists fishing with you, they'll drink none of your beer. But if you take one, he'll drink all of it.
As a Catholic who has heard those jokes and had a bunch of Baptist friends, mostly Baptist friends growing up, I can appreciate those for sure. He's former Gamecock football player turned comedian Marty Simpson. Again, going to be performing and back performing now live in front of us, real audiences, in-person audiences. I think we're all appreciative of that, and I'm guessing you're going to be appreciative to have football capacity being back to 100% this fall as well, sir.
Yes, I mean, I'll give a prop to the NFL for making it not as relevant. I mean, the way they piped in the crowd noise on television for the fantasy football addict, the NFL was almost the same product. I was really impressed that the guys could play with no crowds as intensely as they did. So I really enjoyed this past NFL season, but I'm an NFL fantasy football junkie, and, my kids are switching the radio channel away from Fantasy Sports 87 on satellite television. I mean, satellite radio for me, because I'm listening to the analysis of the third team receiver for the Tennessee Titans versus man-to-man coverage and whatnot. So I kind of like the minutia of that, which is very exciting for my family, let me tell you. And but yeah, no, I'm fired up that the Gamecocks will be playing in front of people. I can't wait. My daughter was in college, and my daughter was actually cocky her freshman year, which I'm allowed to say now because she's 4 years removed from it. But her freshman year, right after Frank Martin won, and then that following year after Frank Martin won, went to the Final Four, my daughter was in the cocky suit for a handful of those games. So I wasn't allowed to brag about that. But now, if you saw my daughter growing up on my social media feed in the Blue Monkey suit dancing at Blythewood games, she was cocky there for 1 year. So that was fun.
Nice
and
work.
She's cocky, but I mean, in the suit dancing around at the games.
Officially there. He's Marty Simpson. Speaking of family, Hope says, Marty's such a great person, graduated high school with his brother Alan. His mother taught me English at Spring Valley High. So you got all the family getting mentioned today, Marty.
Yeah, that's good. My parents are really involved in a lot of different things, in a lot of different angles. My dad, a lawyer coach. He was a coach for 10 years and then became a lawyer. My mom was a teacher at Spring Valley. My brother was real popular here too. So he's out in California now making a living in the entertainment industry. So we get it from all angles. And now both my kids were student body presidents at Blythewood. high school. So now I'm Walt Simpson's dad. Basically, is who I am. He's graduating from high school tonight, which was touch and go there for a minute during COVID. So we're excited that he passed his AP government required class with flying colors. D for diploma is what I say. So but yeah, we're excited that he's going to walk. He's ending up at College of Charleston, and we're excited about that too. So we're going to be empty nesters here soon.
Wow.
So
watch out.
I like how Bill is still in the phase where he thinks his kids aren't going to lie to him. That's good. That's good, Bill. It encourages me to think
that's not what I
there's
think.
still parents out there.
I was already planning the empty nest stage earlier or last night yesterday when we were on that putting green and figuring out how I could get them out of here sooner so I could take one of their rooms and turn it into the putting green we were on yesterday.
He's a comedian.
I know. We were looking at the room over the garage.
Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
Good start. No, I just wanted to mention one more time. 5 o'clock, Northside Baptist Church. Marty Simpson will be a live comedy show. 803-404-6100. If you would like to go get tickets for that, you get tickets for free right now here on 107.5 The Game for the next minute or two. We'll be taking callers at 803-404-6100. Marty, good luck with the show this Sunday. Feel free to give us a shout back when you are right in the middle of fantasy football immersion coming up here in a couple of months.
Oh yeah. If y'all looking for a plug in your league or somebody that's addicted to it, give me a holler, and I'll be excited to. And anybody that can't afford the $10 ticket, call the radio and get your free tickets now. They're giving away. And I realize COVID's been hard on everybody, but that helping the college missions trip by getting your free $20 night at 5 p.m. at Northside Baptist. Y'all call the radio.
Marty
Thanks
Simpson.
for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Great to hear from you, the former Gamecock and now comedian Marty Simpson. You can find him all over the social media as well. He has a unique perspective, I think, and I always like to hear it, especially as it pertains to parenting and relationships. And now that I know he's been married for 27 years, much more respect. I'll be taking more notes from Marty Simpson there. We'll give you our final thoughts today. Dramatic conclusion of the program. A couple of Georgia decommits from one of the best recruiting classes in the country. Gamecock baseball transfers. You're listening to the early game here on 107.5 The Game.
They're hungry. They're driven. New attitude. I want guys that want to be here, not just going out there to hire some guy that has a famous last name.
It's not some retreads. We're a bunch of guys that I think are ready to prove to people that we can do some special things here.
New attitude.
I do believe that things are always meant to be.
Welcome.
Oh, what a comedy guru Marty is. Make sure you go check out that show. You also need to check out your mortgage statement. Make sure you know what exactly is going on. A lot of times people just pay their mortgage, don't really pay attention to what's going on, maybe the opportunity to save money. Now's a golden opportunity. Brian Kovar, Jacob Crowder, the mortgage guru team with First Palmetto Bank, they want you to take a look, see what's going on, and then give them a phone call. As they like to say, don't get caught watching the paint dry, meaning it's a great time, golden opportunity. They're helping people right now save $200, $300, $400 a month on their monthly mortgage, maybe even being able to get some money back because of equity already in their home, help pay off some bills, and put themselves in a better financial situation. Find out for yourself. Give Jacob Crowder a call, 803-719-1005. You can email him, the letter J, Crowder, CROWDER, at firstpalmetto.com is the way to do that. That phone number again, 803-719-1005. See what Brian and Jacob can do for you today. That phone number one more time, 803-719-1005. He's the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank.
It is the first show in a while we haven't gotten the whiteboard going there for you, Patrick.
What's today? Wednesday? We didn't do it on Monday, did we?
Yeah, Gamecock baseball. I guess you're right. I don't think maybe we didn't.
I was worried our boy wasn't going to text in today.
Yeah, got him at the end.
Nearly at the buzzer. Yeah, it took Marty Simpson to get him to text in.
Let's see how many times you just texted. Just 3 times yesterday.
That's pretty good. Like he
3
had to
times
wait
for
a
our
while to
show.
get that text message.
Then 3 times in the noon show, then 4 times in the afternoon show.
Oh wait, I was looking at the wrong one. Sorry. Oh,
It was
no.
actually 10
Many
yesterday.
more times yesterday. Yeah. Let's see. A curse word to start. Back to the cussing at noon. Another one. Yeah. It's hard for me to even keep up. Oh, this is the best part. Yesterday, oh no, Pearson replied to him at noon. And then he says, "No anger here, just listening to the stupidity, which is why I very seldom listen to you."
Wow. That would be
I'm going to count the days in a row he's texted in.
you're gonna go back a long way.
That's hilarious. Why I very seldom listen to you. You literally texted into every show at least once.
Every day.
That's a pretty funny response by Pearson.
I didn't even read it.
Oh, you didn't read it? He set up a number for a psychiatrist.
Oh, boy.
I feel like it angers him that we don't respond to him.
Yeah, it probably does.
That's why we don't respond to him, so he gets 3 hours of like it builds and then it's unleashed on Pearson.
I would respond to a lot of people. The confrontational, argumentative radio is what I was born and raised on. That would be my style of radio. I love hearing people get into a caller.
You love what?
I love sparring with callers or hearing sparring with callers.
I think Tim gets mad at me when I do that when I come back on a couple of them with questions.
That's why I don't do it.
Oh, it's
you don't want to be called down by Tim?
It's not my show.
It's low-hanging fruit, man. Just exactly what they want. It's like encouraging kids.
I
It's also
think
entertaining,
everybody
though.
wants. I think some of them just genuinely think, whatever it is.
But we're entertainers.
We are entertainers.
Is this not? Are we not?
That's what I label myself.
Are we? We're either entertainers or experts. Which one is it?
Entertaining experts.
What's option
People
C?
people are listening either for some sports expertise or they're listening to be entertained.
Correct. It's the balance.
And I think people like hearing dumb people get put in their place.
I do think that is a cultural.
Now, I think people like hearing smart people get put in their place much more than dumb people put in their place.
Yeah.
Dumb people are already in their place, aren't they?
Yeah, but we have some shows where nobody gets put in their place. We all just have a conversation.
Right? But if you listen every single day and it's always that, then I think it just gets wearing on people.
We don't need to turn into The View.
Unless you live in DC.
Well, that's not what the radio show that I listen to is. It's not like they're not just like sparring with callers for 3 hours a day, but that like
right.
They don't shy away from it.
All right.
I hear you.
There you guys are up.
2 top 50 guys now committed from the Georgia football class, a big defensive tackle from the state of Texas after a Texas A&M trip, and I guess it was the Georgia native, an athlete rated number 26 player in the country. Bill, you're saying that was also a Texas A&M trip? Did they go together and kind of make that decision together, you're thinking, or just happen to be on the same day?
I think they just happened to be there at the same time, and that's how it kind of worked out. I don't think that it was a planned, hey, you going? Yeah, I'll go join you, man, kind of situation. But certainly very interesting to see a Georgia kid. Again, the Texas kid, Bear Alexander. That think any of us that really follow recruiting are surprised by that. But to see a Georgia kid, especially one from Bainbridge, where again Georgia's had a good bit of success over the years, decommit, will be interesting to see if they can get him back in the boat or what happens.
I guess technically it was Alexander on Monday and then Bowie on Tuesday, and making those decisions public that they were decommitting from Georgia. But a very similar timing is certainly interesting. The timing for Gamecock baseball, now that the season is over, is when players typically year after year put their name in the transfer portal. This year, it's Jeff Heinrich that we talked about a little bit yesterday, and a couple other guys joining him yesterday as well. Fellow infielder Mike Robinson and Noah Myers, guys who didn't quite crack the starting lineup consistently, going to continue their careers in other places. We'll continue to discuss plenty of Gamecock football recruiting movement and college football recruiting movement now that things are opened up as well. It's nice to have that back, Bill, after a year plus.
Yeah, continue to see what exactly is going to happen for Shane Beamer, for Clemson, for the SEC, ACC, and everybody with recruiting this month.
Dan Patrick Show coming up next.
KTFM in Columbia. This is 107.5.
Can someone translate this?
Yeah, he's their closer, Steven Scooch. There, have you seen the interview that he did after beating Carolina the other day? He's talking about Dippin' Dots and his dog likes him and the whole thing. It's pretty fantastic. But those are old baseball players, famous.
I didn't know a single one of those names.
Yeah, that's before my time, so that's how old they are. Like 1970s, I think, both those guys, maybe in the 60s.
But we're talking about the guy that played the game for UVA. The big dude, the big dude there.
The closer.
Yeah.
Kenny Powers, I think, is the comparison, and he likes it and the whole thing. But yeah, he just leaned right into it. Talked about how the question got posed to him, how he was unafraid to come in and close the game out, and they asked him if he was afraid of anything, and he said, "Caves." He looked around and was like, "Yeah, I don't see any caves out here. It's just a game, man. I just go out there." And I know people are saying mean things to me. One fan said that they would offer me free Dippin' Dots if I didn't win the game. And I thought about it because with the price of inflation, the Dippin' Dots are awfully expensive. But then I thought if I win, we get more per diem and I can pay for my own Dippin' Dots. And I realized that my dog likes me and I was okay with that. So I went out and finished it up.
Gotten more expensive. Not wrong.
It is true. It's very true. All right, live streamers, thanks for hopping on with us. Appreciate all the help and the contributions there. Appreciate it, Anthony. Yeah, he does kind of look like a cross between Steven Garcia and John Rocker for sure. Appreciate it, guys. See you tomorrow morning.